Welcome everybody to a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video today, and this week sees 80s shoe designs and Michael Jordan collide in air, hitting store shelves along with the R-rated raunchy comedy Joyride, the creepy horror flick Cobweb, along with little 4K appreciation for one of the best animated Batman movies of all time with Batman Mask of the Phantasm, along with a little bit of TV goodness for Season 5 of Cobra Kai and Season 1 of The Walking Dead, Dead City, and MVD Rewind is releasing 2 special editions for Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2 because, let's be real, they'll get you in the end. Oh, as they will. Plus much more. So let's go see the deals, exclusives, and we are at our first location, Walmart. So let's go in and see what they got.
All right, everybody, we are in at Walmart under the new releases, and they look stocked, and we're ready to rock, baby. Let's dive in with, well, we already talked about all the Spider-Man love, and boy, they have restocked this like a motherfucker. We've talked about The Flash, we've talked about Resting Bitch Face, but no, we got to talk about a little bit of Asian hilarity. Yes, in Joyride, the Blu-ray DVD digital for $19.96, the DVD for $19.90. Wait a minute, hold on a second. So, what the fuck, man? Jesus, make up your mind. Are they the same price? Are they not? Is this just a mix-up? Oh, Walmart. What am I going to do with you? Seriously, man. But I do know what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to laugh my motherfucking ass off. Oh, you bet your ass, man. Because I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, and there was a part of me that really wanted to watch this in the movie theater. I thought the trailer was fucking hilarious, funny as hell. And all of the guys, whether it was John or Bob, Nick, Van, you name it, nobody wanted to see this with me. I swear to God, man. Everybody saw the trailer like, I don't know, this kind of looks cringy to me. And I'm like, really? Because it looks kind of fun to me. And everyone's like, nah, man, I'm out. Now, yes, I could have gone by myself. Yeah, it would have been a bummer, but I could have done it. I've done it before. But I thought, yeah, I'll kind of pass. And then I saw reviews that were kind of middling. Some were like, hey, it's really funny, laugh out loud, and other moments where people were like, it's not really all that good. It tries, but kind of fails. And so I was like, shit, man. So half and half. I thought, well, let me wait. Instead of paying the theater fees and everything, I'll just wait till it hits on Prime. And thus, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. But this movie definitely deserves some kind of attention. I mean, it's basically about these 2 friends that grew up together, both Asian, who have been through a lot of tough times, and now one is very successful, the other one just kind of going through the motions at this point, job to job, kind of aimless. And the successful up-and-coming lawyer has this job opportunity overseas, and the friend is like, hey, let me come along. They do. They go on this wild adventure together, and perhaps even finding their birth parent. Yes, and all the crazy hilarity and hijinks and mischief and drugs and sex that goes along with it, baby. And there's a hell of a lot of it in this thing, man. This is raunchy, man. This is wild. All right. I mean, the trailer kind of spells it out for you, but boy, the movie itself, it goes hardcore into the craziness, and I'm here for it, man. I think that's the one thing that I loved about this movie, was the fact that they just didn't give a fuck, man. I mean, they literally went for all the craziest, wild, sex-driven jokes that you could possibly imagine, man. I mean, they went for it all, dude. They were like, fuck, we're gonna lean into the fucking stereotypes. Who gives a shit? All the crazy wild hijinks, the things that we're not supposed to do in society for joke wise, and oh my god, is kind of taboo. Fuck it, we're going there. And I really liked how just fucking ridiculous and over the top and just wildly raunchy and sexually driven this thing was, man. This thing is just all over the place, and yet at the same time it still has that heart to it. It still has that really great friendship and connecting with one another and finding your true purpose in life and what friends and love and family really mean to you. I mean, they still keep that messaging. They still keep that heartwarming love and appreciation there, even through all the wild and crazy and just nutty ass moments that is going on with this goddamn thing, dude. And I did appreciate that too. I loved all the acting. I mean, these actors are committing to doing this, man. They are going on this wild ride and they do not give a fuck. And I really appreciated it, man. I mean, they're not like half-assing it. I don't know whether we should do this or not. No, they're going full in, man. They're committing, and damn, are they doing a good job at it. I will say this much. I do agree with some people that do say it is kind of all over the place. And do the jokes always fully land? No, not entirely. There is moments where the jokes kind of fall flat on their ass. They are really trying, but sometimes they're failing really hard. They go for a very broad joke, and even though it's not really landing, they continue to go for it, and you're like, dude, move on to the next thing, because it just is not really going your way. Yeah, there is some jokes that do go towards that, but for the most part, man, I was really laughing hysterically, and I really loved a lot of what this movie was giving me, man. It reminded me of old school raunchy films back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, man. It was reminding me of that shit. And I'm like, God damn, even if this isn't always fully successful and sometimes doesn't always hit the way I'd rather like it to, the fact that they made this movie, the fact that they really went there and did this in such a PC world that we're living in, that takes major huevos, baby. That takes major balls, and I give them a hell of a lot of credit for that, man. I really honestly do. They were committing to the jokes, they were committing to the craziness and the sexual desires and fantasies and drug-fueled dancing and and all of the sexual innuendos. My God, man, they were just laying it on thick, and I think for the most part, they pretty much pulled it off. Is it 100%? No. But was it pretty damn hilarious at moments? You goddamn right it was, man. And I absolutely appreciated that, dude. Living in a world now where comedy is not as good as it used to be, there is flashes. There is moments where comedy can be really fucking amazing and madcap and remind you of the good old days. And Joyride has that in spades. Motorhead, what's your price for flight? I'm bound, and finding a mess to ride. I'm bound to be alright tonight, yeah. Air, the DVD for 70, 96 to 80s was so cool. The clothes, the fashion, the shoes, Nike, Michael Jordan, love, yeah. Oh, because some icons are meant to fly. Oh, yeah, damn right they are. And I know, my sweet 80s rendition. You couldn't help it, baby. I know, man. With Air. Oh, dude. This movie, I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, and I'm going to say that I loved the trailer, and I thought it was actually really kind of interesting to take this story about a shoe and really try to make it into this very nostalgic, fun, dramatic tale. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of here for that. But it's another one of those movies where the guys had literally zero interest in it. And I mean no interest whatsoever. All of them, Bob, John, Nick, Van, they were all like, so it's about a shoe. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, but how interesting can a movie about a shoe be? And dude, I gave it the old college effort, but man, when they are set on their minds, there is no stopping them. And oh man, I gave it my all. But there was no help in it, folks. There really wasn't. So, fuck it. I just decided, I'm going to wait till it hits on Prime. And when I did, I finished watching it. And I'll be really honest with you, brutally honest, that once this was over and I really thought about it, this movie captured my attention in a big bad way, dude. I swear to God, I love this movie. I do, man. It is inspiring. It is heartfelt. It is dramatic. It is thrilling. It is on the edge of your seat. It is so many things and so much more, man. And with a cast like this, with the acting talent that is on display, man, everybody does their due diligence. Everybody works their ass off to make this as exciting and as much of a entertaining and awe-inspiring story that it truly can and should and actually is, man. And I was thoroughly impressed by everything with this movie. And even though you know what the true story is, right? You know what the outcome is going to be, right? Obviously, we get the iconic shoe, and everything turns out well with Michael Jordan and Nike, and everyone gets the success that they so richly deserve. You still are kind of involved in it all. You're just immersed in the experience, and you're like, oh shit, I wonder if the Jordans are going to sign with Nike. Man, are they really going to go with Adidas? It just was that engrossing and captivating, and it really held my attention for almost 2 hours long. By the time like an hour and a half passed by, I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. Just literally breezed by in an instant, and I'm like, my God, I could watch it for another hour and still love it. The characters are so entertaining, and the humorous moments really capture you, and you really feel like you're there in the room with these individuals and the struggles and the dilemmas and the achievements. And man, it really was absolutely phenomenal. And not only that, but it really respects the Jordans and Michael Jordan, and it respects the shoe and the iconic moments, and it doesn't take away from that or undercuts it. It actually celebrates it and achieves it, and it really is phenomenal, from the directing to the acting to capturing that great 80s old school feel, man. I think it did it so well in spades, man, and it was so fucking awesome, and I loved every second of it. It really was that damn good, man. Lest we also forget that the messaging is solid in this movie, about believing in the little guy before no one else really believes in them. The idea of taking this opportunity and this risk and this chance that you could fall flat on your ass, but if you don't do it, you could potentially regret it, man. Taking those risks that no one else will take, and it absolutely paying off because you believe in yourself. And if you truly believe in one another, then you can accomplish great things. That is solid, man, when it comes to messaging. And I think it gives it that extra oomph that it really honestly needs, man. Look, I know it's about a shoe, right? I know it's about this great, iconic, nostalgic shoe that we all love. And how could it really be that good? But it doesn't matter whether it's a fucking shoe or a bag of chips or a simple t-shirt. As long as you can make a really great story wrapped with relatable and interesting characters and a tale that really grips you at the end of the day, then anything is possible, and Air proves that, man. With solid directing and solid acting and solid storytelling, you can do wonders, and Air proves that, yeah, the 80s might be old and it might be nostalgic, and yeah, it is about a shoe at the end of the day, but damn, was it entertaining all to hell, and it makes the 80s look even sweeter. And I'm all here for that. The battle for the soul of karate is on the line in Cobra Kai Season 5, baby. The DVD for 1996, yes. One of my favorite shows going right now is getting the physical media appreciation, and I'm definitely digging it. Oh, yes, I am, man. Damn, do I love this show. All of the karate goodness and the love that's going well. I was going to say a lot of love, but frankly, with this group, there's a hell of a lot of hate, too. All right, there really is, man. But let me tell you something, man. I have fallen in love with this show from the word go. Season 1 on. This is my jam. But then again, I'm also going to be real with you that I had my reservations, okay? I love the Karate Kid series. 1, 2, and 3. dude, those movies to me are so nostalgic, and I grew up with them, and I love those characters. And when they had announced the show, man, I was really skeptical. I was like, how are they gonna really pull this off, man? You're really gonna do a Karate Kid show so many years later, focusing on them as older, more boomer-like individuals, and how are they going to relate to the younger generation, and how is it all going to work, and the story? And aren't you stretching this just a wee bit too far? You might just end up actually pissing on the legacy of Karate Kid, man, and damn, that would just piss me off. That really would, dude. So I was really just not having any of it. And for the first, like, 1 or 2 seasons, I didn't really watch it. I stayed away because, quite frankly, I just had no hope for this goddamn thing until I started hearing people really praising it and loving it and saying, dude, this is way better than it has any right to be. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to give this thing a chance. And season 1 blew me away. I was so captivated by season 2. Season 3 was even better. And I'm like, oh my God. Season 4 fucking killed it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is getting better every fucking season. How the hell is that possible? My God, dude. It doesn't piss on the legacy of Karate Kid. It enhances it in the best way possible, man. It truly does. And so I knew I was here for season 5. It was appointment viewing. There's no doubt about it, man. I knew I was going to watch this shit. Binge watch? Duh. Of course I was, man. And all of the drama and the factions and the deception and the action is all on display in season 5, man. And dude, the master puppeteer of it all, Terry Silver, is back, even more villainous and just twisted, and oh my God, man, you just revel in his evilness. You really do. And trying to come together to defeat Cobra Kai once and for all. Yeah, well, good luck with that one, man. Look, I got to admit, there's a lot of really great stuff in Cobra Kai. I love the characters at this point. I'm so invested in the drama and the overacting and the storylines and, dude, just the factions of people that go from bad to good and good to bad. And they're kind of evil, but they're not. They kind of have a heart of gold, but they also kind of have a little bit of a cold, deceptive heart at the same time. Like, dude, it's all great. And it's kind of like an enhanced soap opera at this point, really. I mean, if you really think about it, it's kind of like The Young and the Restless or some shit, or General Hospital, man, just in karate form, okay? And, you know, when you think about it like that, yeah, it kind of makes a lot of sense, man. Not sure I really love soap operas, but fucking hell, man, I'm all in on Cobra Kai, dude. I really am. It's just that fucking great, dude. I mean, I love it. At this point, I'm fully invested. I'm in, regardless of how cheesy it gets or ridiculous or over the top. Man, I just got to keep on watching. I'm just that far in now. You got me hooked, okay? You really honestly do. And I think there's so much really great stuff in this. Some really solid episodes and some really great memorable moments. Some really great things in this season that really are some of the best you've ever seen on Cobra Kai. But then again, I will also say that there is moments in this show, especially at season 5 at this point, where it has been there, done that. There's a lot of storylines and things that have been repeated over and over again with certain characters and situations where you're like, okay, yeah, that's cool, but they're kind of bickering back and forth with their relationship, and will they or won't they? And that's been going on for multiple seasons now, and they're still doing the goddamn thing. And like I said, that leans more into the soap opera aspect to it. And also, the first half of the season is kind of just plodding along. It's taking too much of its time. There's certain things where you're like, okay, can we speed this up at this point? It kind of feels like it's spinning its wheels, and we could have cut some of the fat, man. But then again, the second half of season 5 is absolutely phenomenal and so many bangers. So is season 5 kind of a mixed bag? Yes, but there's some really solid moments and character interactions, and the bad guy Terry Silver still makes it incredibly worth it. So they did up the ante and the drama and the hijinks, but at the same time, it has a little bit of been there, done that to it as well, man. At this point, what else can you really do with Cobra Kai? Of course you're gonna recycle shit. I mean, come on, man. Certain characters and plot lines and stories, it just over and over repeated constantly, man. And sometimes it's better than others. It just happens that way, dude. But as long as it's still engrossing and you care about the deceptive situations and the heroic moments, then that's what you really care about at the end of the day, man. And Cobra Kai is one of the best of them, dude. I mean, look, it's a high-end soap opera, all right? And my mother used to watch soap operas back in the day, and I kind of faulted her for that. I really did. I'm like, really, Ma? You're watching the same situations over and over again with these characters? Like, how many times can they get married and divorced and killed and come back over and over again? And then again, I'm watching Cobra Kai, and they do the exact same damn thing. So I'm like, okay, well, I pissed on my mother for it, and I'm watching the same shit. So I'm like, okay, I guess what comes around goes around, man. I get it, all right? I do, dude. So I just kind of go along with it, man. Is it a perfect season overall? No, but is it still really hella entertaining? And does it make you want to binge watch the show? Abso-fucking-lutely, man. No show is perfect, and we're in season 5, and there's going to be a lot of faults, but you know what? I will take Cobra Kai, even all the soap opera hijinks, over a lot of TV nowadays, man. It's just so goddamn good. Wax on, wax off, the karate and the characters. At this point, you got my full attention, and yeah, I just ain't leaving anytime soon.
The dead will rise again, and again, and again, and again. Quite honestly, with this franchise, it's just going to turn into a rotting corpse and then just reanimate over and frickin' over again, man. Jeez, The Walking Dead, Dead City, Season 1 for 1696. Ah, yes, the first of many spin-offs since the end of the original Walking Dead, man. They're just going to continue on and on and on. It's just never freaking ending. And if you thought that the original Walking Dead, when it was all said and done, when it concluded and when the zombies decided to just stop stumbling around anymore, if you thought that they were going to call it quits, you were dead ass wrong. Pun totally intended. Yes, because not only are we getting a Daryl Dixon spinoff, not only are we getting a Rick and Michonne spinoff, but also a Negan and Maggie spinoff as well. I mean, my God, man. They just can't let this fucking thing go, dude. They just can't, man. And so, yes, here we are with Maggie and Negan going to New York City, apparently, from what I know. And all of the drama and the dead and perhaps people who have evil intentions. Kind of like The Walking Dead, huh? Kind of like that indeed. Yeah, just a little bit of a twist added to it. Yeah, you know how that goes, man. Now, mind you, I haven't watched the original Walking Dead for many seasons now. Ever since, I'm going to say season 8 was when I finally said quits to this damn thing. So I don't know whatever happened from around season 9 on. Okay, I have no friggin' clue. I bowed out. I had enough. I kind of thought it was waning quite a bit, but then a lot of people said it got better, like really, really fucking good. And then other people were like, yeah, it got good, and then it kind of got bad again. I was like, ah, shit. So I don't know if I kind of want to go back and revisit it. I'm waffling back and forth on that, man. There's a part of me that really wants to go back and finish it, and there's another part of me that is like, I don't know if it's really worth all the time that I'm going to have to invest in this son of a bitch to actually do it, but I don't know how the characters ended. I don't know where Negan and Maggie ended up at the end of the day. I'm assuming that they kind of had to at least kind of backdoor it to get to here to a certain degree. So, yet here we are. They're traveling. They're leaving the confines of the group and heading to the Big Apple. Yes. Well, good luck with that one, because New York isn't easy to deal with when people are alive. When they're dead, Yeah, that seems to complicate matters quite a bit. It really does, dude. Now look, even though I haven't seen a single episode of this show, I wanted to make sure to know what people were really thinking about it. So I read reviews online, I looked at what people were thinking on YouTube, and the general consensus from what I'm getting from most people is that this is a good fucking show. I mean, I'm kind of shocked, all things considered. I really am. People are like, actually, this is kind of going back to basics. It's simple, survival tale. Yes, drama with the characters, especially when it comes to Maggie and Negan and the whole Glenn thing and the complications of their quote-unquote friendship, if you want to call it that, man. And actually, people are really digging the characters and the extra added drama and the intrigue and the zombie action and who you can trust and who you can't and who's on the right and wrong side and is there even a right and wrong side in the zombie apocalypse? I like that people are really digging that. And people have said it feels like old school, good old days of The Walking Dead. And it kind of shocks me, especially with Negan, considering that when I left The Walking Dead, Negan wasn't exactly the most sympathetic character in the world. This guy was a real fucking scumbag. So the fact that he's leading a spin-off series kind of shocks me, but I've heard they've done a lot with his character since, especially with Maggie, and the trust factor there is very interesting. How far that extends, can you really trust the person that killed your loved one? Can you really trust the person that you killed their better half? I mean, it's kind of interesting, and it's fascinating, and the fact that they have to try to work together in the most dire of circumstances, I'm kind of digging that, man. I don't know. I just don't know whether it's worth diving into this. And the problem again is from season 9 all the way on, I just didn't watch it, man. The original Walking Dead. And so I'm really far behind, man. I don't know if I can just pick this up right away and understand everything that fucking happened, all of the storylines that I've missed and all the character moments that have built to this moment. But it's nice to know that it's actually good. It's nice to know that it's worth watching. That's a plus in the right direction, man. And to be fair, look, The Walking Dead has had a lot of highs and a hell of a lot of lows, and I think when people announce these spin-offs, people were generally, I mean, some were excited, fair enough, but a lot of people were like, I don't know about this shit, and the fact that they kind of are actually making it worth it says volumes, man, for a series that has gone on this long with many spin-offs already that have kind of went down the shitter. It's nice to know that maybe one of them might actually be worth it. Mind you, it's only season 1, so take it for what it's worth, but that could be actually interesting if I decide to ever dive into it again. It might just be, man, maybe, kinda, sorta. You guys gotta let me know whether this is interesting or not, because you gotta keep your enemies close. And with The Walking Dead, that's easier said than done. Oh, it truly is, man. Let's hope that the people who are saying it's good actually are right, because if that's the case, maybe it might be worth diving into The Walking Dead to eventually get to a actually good spin-off, not Fear the Walking Dead that has turned into a hot mess. Maybe this one will actually give me hope for the future of The Walking Dead. Maybe, kinda, sorta. Well, there's a first for everything. There really is, man. Oh, there truly, honestly is indeed. Not bad and not bad for the physical media love. Some pretty solid releases so far for good old Walmart. But let's see what else they got. And what they got is a little bit of seasonal Halloween love. Yes. Okay, it's not exactly the October season quite yet, but I think they're definitely doing their due diligence. Oh, indeed they are, man. Let's dive in with some unique slipcovers and releases. Oh, I love this time of year, man. One of my favorites of all time, dude. Like Candyman, Day of the Dead, yes. For $9.96. Oh my god. Who doesn't love little Candyman love? Of course, I'm not gonna say it 5 times because, look, I really don't want Tony Todd slicing my ass. All right, I really don't, dude. Now, the argument can be made this is not a very good Candyman movie, and yeah, I'd kind of agree. I mean, I don't mind the movie. It's all right at best, but it's not the original Candyman, not even by far. But what makes this movie still watchable is Tony Todd as Candyman. He still brings it, man. Even though the rest of the movie and some of the characters are not exactly the greatest, he still lives up to the Candyman legacy. There is no doubt about that, man. I'd actually say this is better than the remake, or reimagining, or reboot, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, man. I didn't really love that movie. I mean, it's a high production value, but I don't know, there's something missing. And I kind of think it's my man Tony Todd. Just saying, man, this might not be the best of the bunch. The third film in a franchise that was dwindling slowly but surely, but hey, it's Tony fucking Todd, man. And with this horror villain, he definitely gets my respect. That's for damn sure, man. Not bad on that. Of course, we got a little bit of Annabelle and the Nun collection, 4 films. Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Comes Home, and The Nun. Oh, man. You know, I'm going to be honest. This whole Conjuring series has really just gotten up its own ass. I mean, some of it is good, but a lot of it is just treading water, man. I mean, the first Annabelle is not a great movie. I argue that Annabelle Creation is actually a really solid flick. I actually really like that one. Annabelle Comes Home is okay, but the second one is definitely the better of them. And The Nun, oh man, when I saw that in the movie theater with Bob, that character was so effective in The Conjuring 2, and then when you build the whole movie around it, yeah, not so much. Not really, man. Yeah, well, they build up these characters only to when they actually do their full movies, you realize how limp dick they actually turn out to be. Just saying, man. But then again, the Conjuring series might be a little bit limp dick, but my man Chucky certainly isn't. Oh, yeah, the Killer 4 movie collection. Oh, man. That's a doll that everyone's gonna love, man. Tickle Me Elmo? Fuck that. You want a little bit of Chucky love, don't you? Oh, yes. We got Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, and Seed of Chucky, yes. Nah, but I think this is the old school DVD release, man. Just putting a glow-in-the-dark slipcover over it. Pretty much like most of these releases, man. It's the old edition, just with a little bit of new slipcover appreciation to maybe get you to buy it one more goddamn time, man. Let me tell you something. I love the Chucky series. I've said it God knows how many times, man. And even the lesser Child's Play movies, Chucky flicks, are still better than a lot of the fucking garbage that's coming out nowadays, man. I just love the attitude and the persona of Chucky and all the characters around them and the mythology. It's just so fucking good, man. And I still think Chucky is one of the best horror icons of all time. Top 3 in my opinion, and I know that's fucking sacrilege, but I'm laying down the hammer, baby. I truly am, dude. God, I love that so much. You even got a little bit of Beetlejuice and Gremlins and Gremlins 2, the new batch. This is kind of an interesting 3-pack. Why Beetlejuice, though? I mean, I get Gremlins and Gremlins 2, good double feature, but why put Beetlejuice in there necessarily? Is it kind of one of those, like, horror comedy things? Maybe? I mean, I love all 3 of these movies. Beetlejuice is fucking amazing. Gremlins is fantastic. And Gremlins 2, seriously, is highly underrated, man. Yeah, it's not as good as Gremlins, but still, I really love the weird designs of all the Gremlins, and I love the comedy aspect to it, and they just really went balls to the wall. They really did. They were like, yeah, we're gonna basically take the Gremlins movie and put it on steroids and cocaine and meth, just all wrapped into one, dude. And that's Gremlins 2, the new batch for you. And I gotta admit, I really love it, man. I really fucking do. It is batshit insane, but in the best way possible, man. I really love that shit. Of course, they got the animated Beetlejuice, which I grew up with, and I absolutely love. That's a great series, man. I used to love that back in the day. Of course, classic Charlie Brown, something every kid should watch. What? You know, when I think of creepy, spooky season, Harry Potter really doesn't come to mind. I mean, there's aspects where it's kind of creepy with Voldemort and everything and the snakes and shit, but really? I don't know. Kind of the odd man out, man. However, A Night Before Christmas is definitely not the odd man out. This is a great fucking movie, man. Iconic, classic. Oh, I love this movie so much, man. It is one of the best animated movies out there, period. It is just so imaginative and creative, and the songs are so fucking good. God, I love that, man. Absolutely one of the staples of the Halloween season. Casper, the first Casper movie with Christina Ricci and Devon Sawa, I actually really like, man. I still think that's a really great kids Halloween style horror movie that everybody can enjoy, the whole family, man. But the other two movies, I kind of think they're lesser movies, in my opinion, man. Like, Casper is so good, and the other two are kind of just like, yeah, Casper made money, so let's just do two more that no one really gives a shit about. You know what I mean, man? Just watch the first Casper. That's all you really need, dude, at the end of the day. I mean, the other two are fine and time wasters, but the first one is the real deal. Just saying, man. You know I'm right, dude. I mean, they got the ScoobyDoo Halloween original movie, which of course is great. They've got the Carrie 3 film collection. Oh, this is fucking killer. You got Carrie, the Rage Carrie 2, and the remake from 2002. Oh my god, man. That's over 20 fucking years. Shit. Damn. Okay, I'm old, man. I'm fucking old, dude. That first Carrie is an absolute classic, and still to this day, it really is disturbing, man. Carrie 2, I argue that's actually a really solid sequel, man. It's not as well recognized as it ought to be, but I think actually it's pretty fucking good, dude. I actually have always really dug that movie. Doesn't get the respect that I think it really properly deserves, though, man. Yes, not as good as the first movie, fair enough, but years later, better than I thought it was gonna be. And the remake is not so bad either. It's definitely got its moments and its highlights, and does the trick for what it's worth. But the original Carrie, so fucking good, man. You don't mess with Carrie, because when you do, well, she tends to want revenge back. Just saying, man. Just saying, indeed, dude. Not bad on that. You also got the Alfred Hitchcock double feature, The Birds and Psycho. Great fucking movies, but if I had to pick one over the other, I'd pick Psycho. I'm a huge Psycho fan. I love that series, and dude, Anthony Perkins as fucking Norman Bates killed it, okay? I mean, The Birds is fantastic too. I'm not taking away anything from that, but it's a great double feature for Hitchcock lovers, but for me, it'll always be Psycho. Just saying. Oh, and speaking of The Conjuring, the 3 film collection, you know what? As I said, the Conjuring universe is a mess, alright? The original Conjuring movie is probably the best of the bunch. The second one has its moments, but not nearly as effective. And the third one is almost like a courtroom drama more than anything else, and not really all that effective. I hear they're maybe doing a 4th Conjuring film, and at this point I'm like, why? I like them playing the Warrens, and I think they're really effective in the roles, and there is some good dark, atmospheric, creepy moments in here, but overall nothing's gonna beat the first movie. And the first movie still to this day will, no matter what, always be king. Just saying, man. Then again, speaking of kings, well, more like torture porn kings, you got a Saw, man. Nice new little slipcover love as well. Saw will make your blood run cold. Ooh, will it now? Look, I will always appreciate the original Saw movie because it came out of nowhere. Nobody saw that shit coming. And I remember watching the movie, and when the twist happens at the end, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, he's not dead? I was like, oh my god, dude. I thought it was fucking brilliant, man. And as much as I love the other Saw movies, and I really do, man, I absolutely adore the Saw series, nothing ever really hit as hard as that first Saw movie, man. Still to this day, it's fucking brilliant, man, and it really cemented the name of James Wan. He really did, and to this day, he's still killing it, man. Truly is, dude. Not bad. Of course, Evil Dead 2 is a mighty king as well, man. Yes, 1996. New slipcover love for this old edition as well, man. And I love the Evil Dead series, the original Evil Dead series, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. So fucking brilliant and batshit insane and all over the place, but madcap in the best ways possible, dude. Seriously. And I kind of feel like the Evil Dead series was never as good as the second one, man. For some reason, the second one is just so far out there and maddening and crazy and wild. I mean, it combined the real crazy horror elements with the goofy moments so brilliantly, and it is one of the best horror comedies of all time, and it's just so fucking good. And Bruce Campbell, man, this guy is a rock star. What he was able to do just in the physical aspects, I give him all the credit in the world, man. He's just that fucking good, man. No wonder he's a legend, because it's movies like this that really cemented him, man. Oh, I love that. Then again, you also have The Thing, the 3-movie collection. Ooh, interesting. With the original, the John Carpenter version, and the prequel, which isn't really all that good, man. I'm just being honest, dude. My favorite is the Carpenter version by far, but of course, you gotta give it up for the original, because the original still has some really great moments to it, but it's the Carpenter version that fucking rocks, man. There's something about that Carpenter version that, to me, oh man, the effects in there and the characters and the drama and the mistrust is so fucking fantastic, man. I mean, hey, it's a 3-movie collection for $9.96 that actually isn't half bad, but you don't need to watch the prequel. The Thing from Another World is fascinating, but it's John Carpenter's The Thing. It is truly the masterpiece. Just saying, baby. Just saying, indeed. But then again, we go from things to vampires with the 4-film collection set. What is this? The Lost Boys, The Lost Boys of the Tribe, The Lost Boys of Thirst, and then Queen of the Damned, just out of nowhere. Really? Seriously, man? Okay, I mean, which one is really the odd man out here, folks? It's pretty fucking obvious. I mean, my God, dude. You know, I'll just be real with you. The Lost Boys is classic, iconic, nostalgic. It's so fucking good. Still to this day, man. Hella entertaining. And the 2 sequels are fucking hot garbage, man. They're really terrible. I remember when they were coming out and fans were really anticipating it, right? Oh my God, Corey Feldman and the Frog Brothers. Oh, they're back. And they're more badass than ever. And then people saw the movie and they're like, yeah, they're back. The badass part I'm not so sure about. Oh, yeah. Man, they really floundered, man. Those movies are fucking terrible. And Queen of the Damned, dude, Queen of the Damned had its moments. And Aaliyah was actually pretty good in the movie, all things considered, but not nearly as good as a movie like Interview with the Vampire and a lot of other gothic vampire horror tales, man. They tried, but wasn't nearly as good, dude. So out of the bunch, The Lost Boys is the best one, and after that, Queen of the Damned, but not even close. Okay, just saying, dude. And those Lost Boys sequels, just forget they never even existed. Lost Boys sequels? What? Nah. Somebody's playing tricks on my ass. Somebody's playing tricks indeed, dude. And I'm not buying it. I'm not, man. However, I would buy Jeepers Creepers, the 2-film collection for $9.96, man. Okay, look, I get it, right? Victor Salva is an absolute creep, okay? He's a scumbag. I will fully admit it. I will acknowledge it. And you're right, okay? But I do think the Jeepers Creepers, at least the first 2 films, are actually really good, man. I really like those movies a lot. They're actually the best of the franchise, because the 3rd movie, even though I kind of like moments in it, yeah, it just wasn't as good. I thought we were going to get a really great origin story with the Creeper and really dive into the history, and it turned out to be anything but, man. They tried to go like the prequel sequel route in a weird way with it that takes place before Jeepers Creepers 2 and after Jeepers Creepers 1, and it's like, yeah, nobody was really fucking interested, man. I mean, the guy playing the Creeper is still really fucking great, but the movie not so much. And don't even get me started on fucking Jeepers Creepers Reborn, will ya? My God, man, what a pile of shit dung that fucking movie is. God, it's so terrible, man. Look, just stick with Jeepers Creepers and Jeepers Creepers 2. Creepers 2 is not as good as Creepers 1, but I still think it's actually really effective, man. This franchise has so much goddamn potential, and it went down the shitter rather fast. Damn, dude. Well, I guess that's how franchises go. Either you're very mighty or very lame. That's for damn sure, dude. But then, speaking of lame, hey, the live-action Scooby-Doo movies, which nobody really cares about. And why is this exactly horror necessarily? I mean, I get it. There's like a creepy killer out there, and they gotta solve the crime and everything. But I mean, there's better. Just saying, man. The cartoons are so much better than the live-action shit. Live-action shit had its moments, but cartoon is so much better. Just saying, man. You got the Tom and Jerry style, SpongeBob SquarePants, which, ooh, spooky. Well, sponge talking is rather creepy, ain't gonna lie, man. You got that. Also got Secrets of Dumbledore, which, just like Harry Potter, what? I mean, I know these movies are not very good, and I guess that kind of makes them scary, but I don't know, man. You got The Witches as well, which, by the way, The Witches remake has moments, but dude, that is a pale comparison to the original one with Angelica Houston, which is so fucking good and still to this day cannot be beat. I hear they're making actually another Witches remake. I'm like, why? What the fuck, man? The original will never be topped. Just saying, man. It's so fucking good, dude. Don't watch this. Watch that, man. Of course, you got the Addams Family animated love, which wasn't half bad. The Addams Family, oh, the TV show, my god, man, that brings me back too. Dude, I used to watch some of this shit on like Nick at Night way back in the day, man. Old school reruns, holy shit. That was some classic shit, man. That was good. That was really good, man. I used to love that. And again, not every adaptation really works. Thus the Munsters. I mean, it is horror, I guess, but very limp dick and not really all that effective and PG rated, and it really takes the Munsters and turns them into lame caricatures of what they used to be. Rob, I love you. I still kind of defend you at moments, but I cannot defend this. I cannot, man. That's for damn sure, dude. I mean, you do have the Nightmare on Elm Street 4 film collection, which I can defend because it has 1 through 4. And you want to know what, dude? I love Freddy Krueger. He is in my top 3 horror villains of all time. Robert Englund, the way that he plays Freddy is so great. Yes, he's menacing and horrific and creepy and twisted, but also he can kind of be funny, and he likes to quip around while killing you. I appreciate a killer with personality, man. I really do, dude. And I like all of these movies, man. I think all 4 are really solid. Yes, some people say the redheaded stepchild is part 2, but I think part 2 is actually really solid, actually. Some great kills, some great personalities, and, man, one hell of an entertaining killer. There will be nobody like Robert Englund playing Freddy fucking Krueger, man. You could try to reboot this all you want. They did, and it didn't work because you didn't have my man Englund. Just saying, man. Just saying indeed. We also have the Final Destination collection, too, which is not bad. You know, look, I hear we're going to get another Final Destination movie. Of course we are, because, I mean, creative kills will never really get old. But I love the first movie. I think the second movie is the peak, the pinnacle, and everything else has kind of just been aping off of it and not doing it half as well, man. I mean, there's moments in all the films that I really love, but the first 2 for me is definitely the best of all. But I will say this, Tony Todd's death, that's fucking killer. That's really good, man. And let me just tell you something. There's a lot of things in this movie series that I would never do, but the big one is in part 2 when there's like that big lumber truck and the lumber comes loose and shit and everybody's dodging it and they're all like dying in brutal deaths and gruesome shit. Every time I'm on the highway and I see a big ass lumber truck, I speed the fuck up. Seriously, I do, man. I don't fuck with that shit, man. Just saying, bro. That's scary. But so are critters. The 4 film collection. That's great, man. $9.96. Dude, I love the Critter series. This is weird and ridiculous and cheesy, but I love the look of the critters, and I love how they eat people, and I love the whole like outer space angle of like these weird clones that copy people that are the good guys that are trying to take down the critters and shit. Like, I love that, man. And all of them have a certain uniqueness to it that I love. I mean, the first two are probably the best, but the other two are just really cheesy goodness, man. And the fact that the third one has Leonardo DiCaprio in that shit, swear to God, man, that's wild. And Critters 4, I just love it being in outer space and just really just mining all the sci-fi cheese out of it, dude. I don't know. This is kind of... It's kind of kitschy, campy, but I kind of dig it, man. I really do, dude. They've tried to reboot Critters a time or two in other movies and series, and it's just not as good as these four, man. But damn, dude, for $9.96, that's a really, really solid deal, man. Not bad at all. They also have Rob Zombie's 31 with a new Slippy, which I didn't really like 31. I mean, I will say this. There's moments in it that I do kind of dig, but outside of that, it's a clone of other survival horror flicks that do it a hell of a lot better. Not really my jam, man. Rob only did a few movies that I really appreciate, and 31 is just not one of them, man. Really not. But then again, you do have Scream 4, which, you know, look, for me, it's the trilogy. It's 1, 2, and 3, right? And anything after that kind of feels like extra add-on. Scream 4 is still kind of good because it is Wes Craven, man. And he knows these characters and the horror and the situation and how to mine all of the Ghostface gold. But I didn't really like the explanation of the killers. And, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't as effective as I was hoping for. You know, I mean, I kind of feel like it ends at Scream 3, and everything afterwards is kind of just a what-if scenario, especially 5 and 6, man. I mean, I appreciate them trying to continue it, but they're just aping off of the horror maestro himself, Wes Craven, and I'd argue not really doing it half as well, man. Just saying. Highlights, but some lowlights, too. Just saying. Speaking of the original trilogy goodness, yes, 1 through 3, baby. Not bad, man. Okay, the third one is a little goofy. I agree with y'all, okay? And let's be honest, Courtney Cox's haircut didn't really help matters none. Okay, but I do like how they wrap up the series and how they tie it all together and what the real cause was of Sydney's suffering, and it's so well done, I think, in my opinion, man. And I like the horror rules, but the first one really did set the tone, and still to this day, nothing ever really beat the first one. I mean, the second one is really good too, but man, that first one, dude, man, it came out of nowhere and it shocked the world. And no matter where the Scream franchise goes, it will always owe the first one a huge, huge debt, man. Wes Craven and all the actors, this was a phenomenon. And man, did it catch fire in a big bad way. So good. I love the Scream series, but the first three are definitely the trilogy that I definitely dig. We will tear your soul apart. Don't threaten me with a good time, Pinhead, okay? The 6 movie collection for $9.96, man. That's a face that only a demonic mother could love. Oh, we've got Hellraiser 3. We've got Hellraiser Bloodline, Hellraiser Inferno, Hellraiser Hellseeker, Hellraiser Deader, and Hellraiser Hellworld. And only maybe 1 or 2 of these is actually kind of good, man, okay? You know, look, Hellraiser 3, I don't really love Hellraiser 3, man. I mean, it's kind of goofy, and man, I could care less about a lot of the fucking characters, but there is some good moments with Pinhead and some of the Cenobites. Okay, like, the whole, like, CD spitting Cenobite was kind of ridiculous, but I kind of like the cheesiness of it, all things considered, man. Hellraiser Bloodline. I actually recently watched Hellraiser Bloodline not too long ago, just to kind of see if I remember liking it, because I remember it was the whole thing of the origin of the box and of what really went down with the creation of it, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, plus Hellraiser and Pinhead in space, which could have been kind of cool, but yeah, it's kind of limp dick. Yeah, I didn't really like it, man. I tried moments, but not really all that good, man. I will say this, though. The straight-to-DVD movies were never really all that good, though, because after Bloodline flopped, everything went straight to DVD at that point. But I'll tell you something, Hellraiser Inferno is my favorite of the bunch. It really is, dude. Yes, it's straight to DVD, but I really love the idea of this corrupt cop opening the box and all the complications from that. I thought Craig Schaefer was really good. I like Doug Bradley in that. I thought it was way better than it had any right to be, man. I thought it was actually pretty fucking solid. Every other straight to DVD movie sucked balls, but Inferno was actually really fucking good, man. I gotta tell you, the Hellraiser franchise is kind of hit and miss. A lot of really great stuff early on in the franchise, and then later on it just kind of pissed it all away, man. You have such a really great, interesting, unique character in Pinhead and the Cenobites, and they just never really did enough with them, man. They never really explored it enough. They could have done so much more with this, and, well, too little, too late, I suppose, man. But I'll always love Pinhead. Not my favorite horror villain, but it definitely does the trick. Not bad. I mean, we got Peanuts, we've got the original Casper collection. Oh, it's so great. Oh my god, man, that takes me back. I watched some of these episodes long ago, dude. I mean, for me, it'll always be the live action movie, but that's a pretty good series, dude. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Not bad. Frankenweenie, which is a really great movie. Love Frankenweenie. I mean, not as good as Nightmare Before Christmas, but a good little double feature. Yeah, possibly. Box Troll is good. Paranorman's really great. Wizard of Oz. I was really thinking about this for a second. I was like, is Wizard of Oz really horror? And then I was like, you know what? It does have horror moments in there with the monkeys and shit. I was never really afraid of it, but I can see why people would be necessarily. I get it, and with the Wicked Witch and shit. So there is horrific moments in there. I think it's more lighthearted than anything else, but I could kind of see it, man. I mean, the Night Gallery is so good. That's really great. Oh, they even have Scream Factory Love. Yes, the Fly collection. Look at this. Oh, that's great, man. With the Fly, the Return of the Fly, the Curse of the Fly, the remake, which is so fucking good, and the Fly 2, which is really a great cult classic movie, man. I love that movie. This is a great collection of old school and new school. I love these movies, man. They're kind of ridiculous and cheesy, but I like how they mine the whole, like, fly premise, man. Sometimes it's literally a guy with, like, a fly head on, and other times with, like, Jeff Goldblum, his literally body is, like, morphing and turning into, like, little parts of, like, the fly and shit, and it's so fucking disgusting. Like, they go in all types of angles with this series, and I really, really love it, dude. I already own this, but for $40, that's one hell of a steal, man. That's a great, great one. As is a little bit of Alfred Hitchcock love. Yes, nice. Rear Window, Vertigo, North by Northwest, The Birds, and Psycho. I mean, you guys already know what I think about Psycho, and I love The Birds, but the rest of them are so fucking great. It's kind of hard to pick your favorite Hitchcock, isn't it? Because these are all fucking master suspense classics. I mean, I love North by Northwest, and Vertigo is amazing, and Rear Window, creepy as hell. Dude, nobody did it like Alfred Hitchcock, man. He was one of the best, one of the kings of horror for a reason, because he really knew how to mine it for all it's worth, man. So good. That's really, really solid. Love that, of course. More Scream Factory Gold, yes, with the Omen. Oh, dude, I love the Omen series, man. This is a really, really, really great set, guys. I have always loved the Omen. The idea of this demon child that is going to take over the world by any means necessary, man, whether it's politically or even more sinister, man. I just love it. And the idea that as he's growing older, he's becoming more powerful and his disciples are protecting him more. Like, I love that shit. Oh, it's so good, man. And I love the music, like, hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw. Like, it's almost like this grandiose, like, yes, we're all going to hell. Oh, man. These are great fucking movies. Yeah, some are a little bit cheesier than others, but damn, dude, I just love Damien, man. Damien is so fucking twisted, man. Even as a little kid, man, he was always a little devious, man. Oh, I love that shit so much, man. So fucking good. Classic, baby. The Purge, I don't know, man. It's not as classic as The Omen, but it's got some moments. I gotta admit, dude, The Purge is okay. The first movie has its moments, but it's not
really one of my favorites, but I love The Purge 2, man. The Purge 2 took the premise, the idea of having a certain amount of time and killing people however you want with no consequences. They just really went with that premise in the second one and just mined it for all that it's worth. And the third movie is really good too. The first Purge could have been better, but I'll tell you something though, the Forever Purge is actually really solid. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Some of them are better than others, and others are really fucking rock solid, man. But I think when the Purge is at its best is when it's just going really crazy, wild, ridiculous, and just really going for the premise in a big bad way. Not every movie does that. Like I said, the first movie is more of a home invasion film, but when you get to the second film and onward, they really take that idea and just spin it and really just go for a lot of great horror and killing gold, man. So good. When done right, the Purge can be really good. When done right, just saying, man. But nothing truly beats the classics, baby. Oh, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and the Mummy. These are the complete legacy collections, which I believe have all the movies. Yeah, this one has Creature from the Black Lagoon, Revenge of the Creature Walks Among Us. I think this has all the extra ones to it as well. Oh yeah, Bride, Son, Ghost, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, House of Frankenstein, Dracula, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Yeah, man, it has like all of the goodies here, man. Yo, Wolfman, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, Frankenstein, Werewolf of London. Oh yeah, man, it's got a ton of stuff. Even the Mummy, man, I think that's got extra ones to it too. Yeah, Mummy's Hand, Mummy's Tomb, Ghost, Curse. Oh wow, man, yeah, it's got all of the gold, man. And for $15, that's a hell of a deal. I love the old school Universal horror monsters, man. I just do. I grew up on this stuff. My mother really got me into it at a young age because she really loved it, man. Her favorite of all time is Frankenstein. She loves Frankenstein, man. She calls him Frankie. And when I was younger, she would sort of chase me around the house pretending to be Frankenstein. Ooh. It was so great, man, and it really left an impression on me. And for me, growing up with the old school black and white horror movies really made me appreciate a lot of the stuff that really was influenced by these movies, man, and the artistry behind them and the craft and the creativity and imagination. It was really some great solid horror movies that still to this day I really appreciate and I love. And I know that they're black and white, and I know that they're old school, and I know that a lot of new school horror fans don't really appreciate them as much as I do, or a lot of older fans do, but they're still really rock solid to this day. I will always love them and appreciate them. And for me, you really need to look at the old school horror films and I think really give them the proper respect that they deserve, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't have Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger, and we wouldn't have a lot of these great horror icons, Chucky, you name it, without the old school really setting up how great horror can truly be. And man, even the lesser black and white movies are still great compared to a lot of the shit that's coming out today, man. Respect the old school classics, and this Halloween season, give the old school a little bit of a try, because I guarantee ya, it is entertaining, man. And something tells me Frankie might be the best on the list. You bet your ass it is. Oh, that's a great price for a lot of really great movie gold, man. That is awesome. And then we got a little bit of Jordan Peele goodness with Us and Get Out. I like Get Out, I like Us, good little double feature. I definitely dig Jordan Peele. He's a good, creative, imaginative director, and I'm curious to see where he goes with his horror sensibilities. I gotta admit that Nope was really terrible, man. It was really fucking shitty. But that being said, though, I do still think he's a really great creative force within the horror genre. There's a lot of really great new school voices, and he's definitely one of them, so I'm curious to see where he goes next. But out of these ones, Get Out is definitely the better one, just saying, man. But whether it's new school, old school, and everything in between, they're definitely supplying the horror love, that's for damn sure, man. Nice. Getting a jump on the Halloween spooky season is never a bad thing. Not bad at all, man.
Oh, I definitely dig it. My favorite season of all time. With this and the new releases, that's pretty damn sweet. Man, Walmart be killing it. Let's head out.
Pure perfecto, if I say so myself.
Oh, it absolutely is, man. Not only do we got the new releases, but we got a little bit of Halloween scary horror goodness on top of it.
Ooh, that just gets my blood boiling in all the right ways.
Oh, it really does, man. Walmart be killing it with the physical media love, the physical media appreciation. They've been doing it for a while now, and they continue to keep the trend going in the right direction. And damn glad for it. Not bad for a good old Walmart. They were definitely doing the due diligence. And let's hope that they keep the trend going. I mean, as we're getting into more of the fall, we're going to see some solid banger releases. And let's hope that all of their momentum is just getting ramped up even more. Well, only time will tell, but they're heading in the right direction. They really are, man. So can't complain with the Walmart goodies, but what about the other stores? I mean, if Walmart is this good, let's hope the other places are. I guess we'll just have to go and see now, won't we?
All right, everybody, we are at our second location, Target. But before I go in, I gotta talk to you guys about something. And when one DVD by mail service ends, don't think it's the end, because, well, another one just pops right up in its place. Indeed it does. From Engadget, America's largest independent video store, is taking its DVD by mail service nationwide. Let's dive in. After September 29th, Netflix will no longer rent DVDs by mail and will be winding down that part of its business altogether. Wah wah. Sad days indeed. Most people might be surprised that the streaming giant is still even renting DVDs, but if you're one of its subscribers who will be sad to see the service go, there's now another rent by mail option you can use anywhere you are in the U.S. Scarecrow, the largest independent video store in the U.S., has launched its own rent by mail service that will send DVDs and Blu-ray discs straight to your door. The store first piloted the service back in 2019 before it started working on making its library available to people across the country during the pandemic. As the Seattle Times reports, it launched a campaign in 2021 to raise funds for an overhaul of its aging website, making it more searchable and giving it a more modern look. Now, Scarecrow's Rent by Mail website is live with step-by-step instructions on how to be available of the service and a searchable library divided by genres. To be able to rent from Scarecrow, you'll need to sign up for an account, which will have to be verified and approved by a staff member. After that, you can start adding DVDs to your cart. Titles are priced individually, but shipping will cost you $12 for up to 6 discs. That's discs, not titles, which means if one movie has 6 discs, you can add more to the same shipment. The rental window is 14 days, including shipping. After that, you can either renew by phone or pay the late fees. Those good old late fees, huh? Remember those back in the day? Scarecrow has 140,000 titles in its collection. Comparably, Netflix has around 5,000 titles in its U.S. catalog, according to Cord Cutting, most of which you can rent by mail. There are exceptions, however, including rare, not-a-print videos that require a security deposit, newly released movies, and adult titles. It also doesn't mail VHS tapes and laserdiscs, so you have to go elsewhere for those formats. But good luck finding any mail service that'll do that shit. Indeed, but hey, it's nice to see that the rent by mail service ain't quite done yet, man. Not quite, not by a long shot, at least not yet. Oh, man, look, I am somebody that rented from Netflix, and getting my last disc in the mail recently, that was really bittersweet, man. That is downright saddening to me, and I'm just kind of cherishing it for as long as I can before I have to turn it in, man, because, God, I've been with that service really ever since I signed up with Netflix. God knows how many years ago, man. I've been with that service for a long, long ass time, man. Even when I was still doing a lot of streaming, I was still supporting the DVD by mail service because why not, man? You got to support that type of stuff. And, well, I generally did. And to see it go, man, really sucks. But I get it. You're losing a lot of people that are just going to streaming and not doing the rent by mail service anymore, and it's just dwindling down further and further every year, and profits are going down. And I'm not saying that's the reason why you should get rid of it, but I understand the argument. I do. And so to see another one sort of pop up is only good for the physical media business. And let me explain why for a second, guys. Because would it shock you to know that there are still people in this country that really do not have much access to Wi-Fi or many streaming services? Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't, but the truth is that there's a lot of people out there that still only rent physical media discs. They can't do anything with streaming or don't even want to, and they like the old school way of doing things. There's nothing wrong with it. Is it a little outdated? Yeah, but it's their fucking choice. I mean, seriously, man. So a lot of the people, even if it's a small amount of them, was still depending on the Netflix service. But now going to Scarecrow, there's an option there that has a little bit more of a variety. Yes, there's a little bit extra stipulations because they're not exactly as powerful as a Netflix, so they have to do certain things to maybe make a little bit more money versus a competitor like Netflix would. So certain late fees and other charges, shipping, you name it. Yeah, it adds on to the cost a little bit, but if you're willing to pay it for a lot of the titles that they have in their library, why not go for it, man? I mean, at the end of the day, I've always said to you guys that streaming is good. Streaming is not bad. The problem ultimately with streaming is that they don't have every single title available. There's so many titles, even in my own collection, that I know that will never be on streaming and are currently not streaming at all. And so there's a lot of places that only carry physical media discs of those certain titles. And Scarecrow is servicing, yes, a niche, a small niche, but still they're servicing people that really do like this type of service, like this type of convenience, and still like that physicality. There's a lot of people out there, yes, me included. I don't know if I'll technically go with Scarecrow or not. I'll have to really look into it, man. I was so devoted to Netflix and seeing it go. Maybe I can put that movie cash to something else, maybe, kind of, sort of, who knows, man. But it's just nice to see that service, that Netflix service, even though it left, doesn't mean that those people are entirely screwed over. That they can go over to another platform and still feel like they're getting their money's worth and even getting more out of the catalog than even Netflix had. Which is not a bad thing at the end of the day, guys. Look, why is these physical media rental places still popular? Redbox and now Scarecrow and the Netflix service. It was because fans still care about that. The accessibility and the physicality and the idea that they're not beholden to streaming overlords. It's not a bad idea, man. It really isn't. And I'm hoping that Scarecrow is successful here. I really hope they are, and I'm rooting for them big time because, look, physical media, there's a lot of times when we get knocked down and dragged around and beat down like a motherfucker. We need a win occasionally, and this, I consider a win. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is good, that they're doing this service, that they are catering to the physical media fans, or do you think, screw it, it's just time to go to streaming, and if you don't, you're a fucking loser? Let me know, guys. But what about Target? Walmart had the goods. But what about here? Let's hope they do. Let's go and find out.
All right, everybody. We are in at Target under the new releases and physical media we want. And physical media we get. Yeah, damn right, baby. There's a few things I'm seeing already. So let's dive in with, I like that old time rock and roll. The kind of music just soothes my soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that air Blu-ray for $24.99. I can't get enough of the 80's love. I am a simp for that 80's gold with that old time rock and roll. I couldn't resist yet another 80's band. I couldn't with There is. Oh, man. And what lovely 80s gold this truly is, man. Taking us back to 84, taking us back to the good old days, even before Michael Jordan became a big thing, before he changed the world of pop culture and basketball altogether, and seeing how Nike influenced that. That's definitely a story worth telling, and it's a story that a master filmmaker definitely needs to explore. And thus, let's talk about Ben Affleck, baby. Let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend that pulled it off, man. Because is it right to finally say that he really is a true filmmaker, man? Is it right to say that he really is a one-of-a-kind director? Maybe we could have said that after Argo, but even though I love Argo, and God knows, man, Argo is a great fucking movie, I tend to think that he still needed to prove himself just a wee bit more, man. I mean, think about it like this, dude. Gone Baby Gone was fantastic. Argo, amazing. The Town, dude, out of your seat, thrill ride, dramatic, acting out of this world, dude. I mean, he knows how to make a good movie, but he needed to stumble, he needed to fall, he needed to find his way again. Think about a movie like Live by Night, which is not exactly a bad movie necessarily, but as far as his other directorial efforts, it wasn't exactly very highly anticipated. Nobody was really caring about it, and at the end of the day, wasn't really all that great as far as a movie is concerned. So, look, he stumbled, he kind of got knocked down a bit, but I feel like he had to do that, man. Even going into the whole DC universe realm and being Batman, right? Dude, the fans, if they like you, they like you, but if they're willing to knock your ass apart, they are willing to do it. And boy, did he get knocked upside the head, man. Look, I still contend to this day that he was not bad as Batman. Is he as good as Keaton? No. I'd almost argue he's on par with Bale, but I know that's fucking sacrilege to even talk about. I won't really go there, but he was actually supposed to direct the Batman movie. He was supposed to direct his version of Batman with him starring, and I contend that would have been a really fucking awesome movie, man. Ben Affleck, with his directorial chops and his nose for storytelling and acting, dude, having him direct a Batman movie would have been fucking phenomenal. It would have been fan-fucking-tastic. The problem is that he was sick and tired of getting dunked on. I mean, truth be told, he was just tired of all the bullshit and trying to work on a Batman movie and also being the star and also getting a bunch of criticism and hate. And he's like, I just can't do this, man. It's stressing me out. I'm drinking. My marriage is going down the fucking tubes because of this. I mean, my God, man, I'm in shambles, bro. So he was like, I'm out, man. And I think he was better for it. I think he was better to go through all of the shit with the DC fans and get out of the toxic Warner Brothers DC fanboy hate train, man. I mean, really, he was. And I think Air would never have happened if he didn't go through that DC turmoil, man. I truly believe that because he was trying to get Batman made. All of the frustrations, he just said, fuck it, I'm out. And he was trying to find a great comeback movie to really build him back up as a director, and thus we have Air, man. And at this point, with enough successes and a little bit of letdowns, I think he truly has made a really fantastic, phenomenal, amazing, rooting for the little guy story that is truly inspirational and inspiring. And to me, he made all of those movies, the successes and the failures, to get to this point, man. And for me, I'm glad that he did it, man. This movie is a culmination of a lot of his efforts, and I can't wait to see where he goes next. And it's just phenomenal to really even think about the fact that at one point in Ben Affleck's career early on, we all considered him a joke, right? I mean, Matt Damon was such this big star, and Ben Affleck was doing like these poppy projects, man, like Armageddon and shit. I mean, yeah, Armageddon was cool and everything, but he was the true artiste, and yeah, he was a fake and phony, baby. Yeah, if you remember, there was a time when we really thought about that, and now that's all out the window, man. He truly has come into his own, not only as an actor, but as a really great director and artist and storyteller. And seeing these two come back together after such a long time, Good Will Hunting, you name it, and bringing aboard all this fantastic talent on top of that, and making a fantastic story about a fucking shoe. I mean, there's only certain directors that could really pull that off, and Ben Affleck is absolutely one of them, man. He's got my respect. He's had my respect for a while, but Air proves that he is the real fucking deal, man. Yeah, he might not have got to make a Batman movie, but he made a movie about a Michael Jordan shoe, and damn, was it that fucking good.
Sex, drugs, debauchery, and one hell of a good time.
Asians know what's up. They truly do in Joyride. The Blu-ray DVD digital for $24.99, a DVD for $19.99. You know what, man? I never thought that Asians knew how to party this hard, but I'm glad to be proven wrong. Oh, you bet your ass I am, dude. And let me tell you something. I've always said this, God knows how many times, that representation matters at the end of the day, right? I don't care if it's Asians, white people, black people, Native Americans, gay, lesbian, trans, who gives a shit, man? As long as it's a good fucking story, I care about the characters, I'm laughing my ass off, I'm enjoying the ride, who gives a shit, right? I mean, you just want a good movie at the end of the day, and that's what Joyride is, but it is kind of nice to see other cultures and other ethnicities getting their fair share and a chance, right? Because, look, I can kind of speak to it, considering I am a white dude, all right? Pasty white as it is. Then a lot of times these type of movies were pretty much owned by white folks. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, considering those movies are really fucking good. They're fun as hell, iconic, really well done, so I was kind of going along with it. But nowadays, we're living in 2023, give other people a chance, man. I mean, for instance, let's say a movie like Bridesmaids, which has a lot in common with Joyride, actually. It's a very raucous, raunchy, ridiculous, wild, over-the-top type of movie with ladies doing some really weird and cringy hijinks, man, okay? And that movie hit big. That movie was a fucking gold mine. And this movie comes out, and dude, it was like crickets. I mean, seriously, nobody really went to see this movie. It bombed hard. And is it possible that if this was white chicks instead, it would have been more popular? I don't know. Look, don't kill me. I'm just saying it out loud, all right? I am, man. Look, as much as I appreciate Bridesmaids and think there is funny moments in there, I think Joyride is a much better movie, man. I think the hijinks are even wilder. I like the characters more. I appreciated the heartfelt, heartwarming friendship a lot more. I believed it. I actually cared about the hijinks, and to me, I think I got more laughs out of it than anything else. Now, I'm clearly probably in the minority when it comes to that, okay? I get it, right? I'm insane. I'm out of my mind. Get me into a fucking mental institution, all right? Fair enough, man. But it is nice to see other ethnicities really being given a chance in this day and age. And to be fair, we've never seen anything like Joyride. Maybe there has been overseas in other types of movies, but nothing like this, where Asians are really going wild like this, man. We hadn't seen anything like that. But then again, there's been a lot of firsts. Look at Crazy Rich Asians, which was such a popular movie and really captured the cultural pop zeitgeist, and nobody had really seen that before. Most romantic comedies was, frankly, pretty white people getting together, all right? Nobody had seen that type of Asian representation, and it worked really well. Or even Shang-Chi, the first Asian superhero to really be seen on the big screen, man. That was pretty goddamn cool, and it caught people's attention, and it was a pretty goddamn good movie to boot. So there is opportunities out there, there is chances, and it's nice to see the other side of the coin, right? Not every movie is going to hit big, not every movie is going to light the world on fire, right? I wish this would have gotten more of a chance, but maybe people stayed away because they didn't like the trailer, or the word of mouth wasn't that good. I mean, there could be a bunch of reasons for that, man, but it is worth giving a chance to if you like very raunchy, wild, over-the-top insanity type of movies. This is definitely for you, man, and it really reminds me of a bygone era that is really, sadly, barely with us anymore. And it's movies like Joyride that kind of remind us of the good old days. I mean, even though I don't always love Bridesmaids, like I said, I appreciate it for how crazy and wild it got. And we're just not getting those type of movies anymore. And it's sad that this failed at the box office, because pretty much studios look at that and they say, well, I guess those type of movies don't really sell anymore. No, they really do. Maybe you gotta market it better, or who the hell knows, man. But these movies really do need to be made, because who cares what ethnicity it is? Who cares at the end of the day, you know, what type of color your skin is? It doesn't matter, man, as long as it's a good fucking movie at the end of the day. It's nice to see Asians being given that chance, and it's nice to see that not just white people can be really wild and weird and crazy and over the top. Asians can be just as naughty as anybody else can, man. They really do, dude. And it's worth giving a chance to. But, you know, look, these movies are sadly a dime a dozen nowadays. And Joyride is proof that if it's done really well, it can be pretty goddamn hilarious. And this is hilarious, man. I've always said that the biggest sin a comedy can make is that it's just not funny. And the fact that this is funny, this actually had me just gut punch laughing, dude. And nowadays, that's not as easy as you might think it is. I mean, think about movies like No Hard Feelings, right? I did enjoy that movie. I thought it was all right. Could it have been better? Absolutely. But there was still some laughs to be had that I thought were really effective. But there was a lot of spaghetti being thrown at the wall that wasn't that good. So it is a step in the right direction. But then again, you look at a movie like The Machine, right? Which is throwing a lot at the wall as well. And it does the trick at times, but it doesn't quite get there. Moments where it is funny, but it could have been mined for more comedy gold, man. So I think a little bit funny, more funny, and even better. And I think comedy is trying to find its sea legs again. I really do, man. I mean, we're living in an age where horror is amazing, and we're getting some wonderful dramas and comic book entities. We're getting some really great stuff, and I feel like comedy is kind of waning a bit. And anytime that there's a really good comedy, I gotta come out here and I gotta really say how great it is, because right now, comedy isn't nearly as effective as it could be or even should be, right? So praise the movies that actually kind of do it well. Is it 100% the best fucking comedy in the world? No, it really isn't. But compared to what we're getting, it's a hell of a lot better than you might think it is, man. No matter who you are, no matter who you love, no matter the color of your skin or ethnicity, you name it, everybody can party hard. Everybody can be raunchy and naughty and weird and wild. And these chicks, well, these chicks do it pretty damn effectively. Oh, they really do. They had me rolling with laughter. And I'd like to party with these chicks. I really would. Lord knows where I'd end up, how drunk I'd get, where my clothes went. But something tells me I'd have a story or two definitely worth telling. What lives inside is truly more dangerous than you could possibly imagine in Cobweb. Here's the Blu-ray digital for $16.99. This is great. I'm so glad that we're seeing this, man. I'm really surprised that Walmart didn't have this, but I'm actually even more surprised that Target has it. Holy cow, man, this is awesome. Wow, man, a little bit of horror to add to the new release love, that's for damn sure, man. Lizzie Kaplan, Anthony Starr. Oh, something's creeping on that kid big time. Oh, it really is, dude. I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, and honestly, I didn't really know what I was walking myself into. This movie came and went at the box office in the blink of an eye. In fact, I believe it came out the same weekend as the whole Barbenheimer deal. Yeah, it got swallowed the fuck up. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of movies that got swallowed whole, and Cobweb was one of them. I mean, I don't think anybody really paid fucking attention to this movie. It was like, hey, either Pink or the atomic bomb. Nothing else really matters. I mean, nothing else matters at all, man. And I kind of felt really bad because, you know, look, every movie, good, bad, and different, deserves their shot, deserves a chance, and this just didn't even have it, man. Not even a fighting chance at that. So I was like, well, maybe because it kind of got ignored, perhaps it wasn't really even that good, but slowly but surely, the people who were watching it said, guys, this is really fantastic. Don't sleep on this movie. And I'm like, really? It's that good? And so I was kind of shocked for a moment, but I'm like, maybe it might actually be worth it. So thus I decided to watch it. And man, let me tell you something. When this movie was all said and done, and I ended up just sitting there and contemplating, I thought to myself, this movie is really that damn good, man. Seriously, it's pretty rock solid. I really dug this movie a lot, man. I mean, it is eerie, it is creepy, it is atmospheric, it is dark, it is twisted. It's a lot of things, man, and quite frankly, it will get under your skin in the biggest, baddest way. I was kind of shocked because I was not expecting how good this movie ended up turning out to be, but it really is rock fucking solid. Basically, it's about Peter, this young boy who has a lot of problems going on, man. I mean, he's getting picked on in school. On top of that, his parents are very sus. They're kind of creepy-ish. I mean, they're not exactly on the up and up. It feels like they're hiding something. At the same time, he's hearing this knocking inside the walls. This little girl that's talking to him. Is there somebody trapped inside the walls? Is it in his imagination? What the fuck is happening here? And how much do the parents really know? Oh, I don't know if I could tell you much more than that. You're just gonna have to watch it for yourself. I mean, seriously, man. It's one of those movies where go in with not much knowledge and be pretty impressed with what happens, man. I'm telling you, dude, this was a real shocker to me, and it was a very, very pleasant surprise. The acting is great because on the surface, everything seems nice and normal, but you kind of realize, like, something's not quite right here, man. And the acting just kind of gives you that little bit of a questionable moment or two where you're like, dude, these parents seem all right, but not so sure, man. And they're playing it up for every creepy and suspicious moment, and it's so delicious to watch, man. It really seriously is. On top of that, there is that unpredictable moment where you really don't know what's happening necessarily, and I like that because, look, I've seen so many horror movies, and sometimes you know straight off within the first 10 minutes where this is fucking heading, where it's going, the exact moments where it will reveal itself, and on top of that, you can predict every single bit of what characters are going to do, and how they're going to interact, and how they're going to react to situations, and sometimes you kind of are like, man, I want a challenge here, I want to be stumped, I want to actually be shocked, and disturbed, and surprised, and Cobweb actually does it, and that was actually, man, for me as a horror fan, hey, I'll take what I can get, man. I mean, seriously, I really will, dude. On top of that, the direction was aces, and it never overstayed its welcome, because this movie is an hour and a half, actually slightly less than an hour and a half, and it never lingers too long. The whole idea of the parents and the suspiciousness and what's exactly going on, it doesn't stretch so long that you feel bored. It hits at the right moment and reveals itself at the right specific time when you kind of feel like it needs to happen, right? Because there's certain movies that kind of just ring out the whole drama of what's really happening and what's going on and trying to stretch the situation out. And at a certain point, you're like, dude, I'm getting bored here, man. Like, this should have revealed itself 20, 30 fucking minutes ago. And this movie does not do that, man. It definitely plays its hand well, and it doesn't overdo it. At the same time, when it does do it, man, it gets going really fucking quickly. It wastes no fucking time. When things truly get revealed and you really get what's going on in this bitch, man, they waste no time in getting to the really, really horrific stuff, man, and the blood and the gore and the attacks and, oh, all of the horrific moments definitely get to you in a big bad way, man. Let me tell you something. This movie is way better than it has any right to be. And I'm dead serious, dude, because horror this year has been kind of lackluster, to say the least. I mean, it's had moments where it's been okay, but for the most part, 2022 was so much better for horror, and this year has been kind of lacking. So I went into Cobweb thinking, look, man, it's just going to be mundane, boring, waste of my fucking time. And I finished this movie and I was creeped the fuck out. And I was like, dude, this is pretty fucking good, man. Damn, man, this is one of the best horror movies of 2023. It's one of these really great underground horror flicks that I think over time is going to get a lot of love and a lot of appreciation. Called classic status, perhaps? Maybe, but dude, this is one of those movies that during the creepy Halloween season, it has to be experienced, it has to be watched, particularly in the dark, with maybe some friends or even your loved one wrapped around your arm, maybe, yeah, possibly, because, you know, if you play your cards right, you might get a little action in the process. You just might, dude. Look, this was a surprise for me, and when everything gets revealed, I was satisfied. I never felt like I got cheated. I never felt like I was misdirected in any way. I thought it was unique. I thought it was different. I thought it was imaginative and creative and really kept me on my toes, man. This is a pretty damn entertaining horror flick. And look, nowadays we've seen everything in horror, and yes, this story is not exactly anything new. It's not going to reinvent the wheel, but how it goes about it is pretty goddamn genuine, man. And I really like this movie a lot. If you are into horror, if you were not so sure about this movie or haven't even heard about it, and I can't quite say I blame you, get to watching Cobweb, because it'll definitely get your mind going. It'll definitely give you the creeps. And I think at the end of the day, this is a horror movie that you'll definitely bow down to and appreciate, because compared to a lot of the other drivel and dreck that's out there, this is a goddamn revelation. Wax on, wax off. To be fair, it's all the same as long as you're beating some ass. You damn right it is. And Cobra Kai Season 5, the DVD for $19.99. Karate never looked so devious. Oh, you're damn right it has it, man. Especially when it comes from my man Terry Silver. Yes, the evilest and most badass bad guy in the Cobra Kai legacy. Now, I know what you're gonna say, right? Well, wait a minute. You're devaluing Kreese? You're not giving Kreese the love? Okay, look, I think Kreese is a fantastic bad guy, man. I mean, especially when you're thinking of the whole Karate Kid franchise and the Pantheon and Cobra Kai. When you look at it all, Kreese, without that character, man, It wouldn't be half as good. Okay, fair enough. But we're in season 5, man. We gotta up the motherfucking ante. We can't have the same backdoor, behind the scenes evilness, right? We gotta be front and center with that shit. We need somebody that truly is going to be a real thorn in the side of the bad guys, man. Somebody that is really going to manipulate everybody, the good, the bad side, and literally take what they want no matter what, man. No mercy. Okay? And that is Terry Silver. And they have done a phenomenal job making this guy one of the most seediest and corrupted individuals within the entire Cobra Kai world, man. And I have always loved that character. And to be fair, I've always loved Thomas Ian Griffith, man. There's something about that actor where he just exudes baddie. He just exudes one of those real evil motherfuckers that you just love reveling in their despicableness, man. I mean, it's too good, right? And he just really brings it as an evil presence, and he just owns it. He's satisfyingly defiant to every character, no matter whether there's an alliance or not. And that's Terry Silver, and that's Thomas Ian Griffith bringing that bravado as an actor, that swagger. And man, does it work, dude. It worked back in fucking Karate Kid 3, where, yeah, was it a little over the top, ridiculous? Sure, why not? But again, you're 3 films deep. You need to really up the ante for a bad guy that just doesn't give a shit. And man, Terry Silver is one of them. And Thomas Ian Griffith, it's kind of wild to me because compared to a lot of other actors out there that has done so much different type of work, if you really look at his IMDb, he's done very little. I mean, he's done a decent amount, but nothing like a lot of other actors out there. And yet we remember him so fondly. Why? I mean, it's probably because of performances like Karate Kid 3, which really was so memorable and unlike you had never seen in any of the other Karate Kid movies, or a movie like Excessive Force. Oh, that's such a great underrated action movie, man. Him, James Earl Jones, Lance Henriksen, Tony motherfucking Todd. If you have never watched that, dude, you gotta watch that. It's so good. Or him playing Valak in John Carpenter's Vampire. Yeah. Oh man, that is a great movie. I love John Carpenter's Vampires, and for a long time that movie was very maligned, hated, and I think over the years it's actually been reevaluated by the fan base, and actually people really dig it a lot more now. Hey, I was one that was on the original bandwagon, so fuck all you haters. I was there from the very start with the love, baby. I truly was. He's so good at Valak, man. He's so badass and terrifying. Man, him playing a vampire, I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley. Not even close, man. He even played Rock Hudson in a biopic, a TV movie biopic, man. Yeah. Seriously, Tom Matthews from Return of the Living Dead was in that flick. Not many people remember it, but I do. Oh, I do indeed, man. You know what? He's just one of those actors that, yeah, the resume isn't long, but the stuff that he did really resonated with people, and I can kind of see why, man. The personality really stands out, and when he really goes for a character, really goes for a performance, really wants to dive in deep into the psychology and the madness of a character, man, he really goes there, and he's fucking brilliant, man, and Cobra Kai proves it. Doesn't matter whether he's younger or older, man, if you get a juicy character, a juicy role of just this guy that doesn't give a shit, man, you can do wonders with that, and he really does it. It's just so delicious, man. It really is. Oh, man, and Terry Silver, Thomas Ian Griffith, man, brings it every single episode. You just love to hate him. Let's be real, man. You just really do. And I think he's the best thing that ever happened to Karate Kid. He's the best thing that ever happened to Cobra Kai. As much as I love Kreese, and Kreese is a great villain, Terry Silver is just next motherfucking level, man. He's so good. And, man, where would Cobra Kai be without him? God only knows, but I don't even want to think about it, man. So fucking great. Daniel is great. Johnny Lawrence is great. All the kids are great. The storylines, but a really good bad guy brings it all together in the best way possible. And Terry Silver, come on. He's one of the best. Ah, yes, a day late and $1 short when it comes to these releases because they came out the previous week. But sure, Target is just putting them out now. The 4K Love for Sleepy Hollow for $24.99 and the complete third season of Harley Quinn for $19.99. Not bad, of course. I have poured my love into Sleepy Hollow. I love this movie so much. Vintage, great, just classic Tim Burton style, man, which if you have never experienced it, you got to, especially for the creepy Halloween spooky season. Definitely put on the watch list, man. No doubt about that. And of course, Harley Quinn is iconic DC love. I'd argue maybe more popular than The Flash nowadays. Would I be wrong in saying that? Something tells me not, man. Something tells me not indeed, dude. But it's glad to see her regardless. And actually, I was looking this up, and I was shocked to see that Arlene Sorkin, the inspiration and original voice of Harley Quinn, passed away, man. She passed away in her 60s or something. Man, that's young nowadays, dude. God, it's a real shame. And it's actually funny because from what I was reading, it was supposed to be a one-off voice acting thing. It was supposed to be like a one-episode thing doing the voice, and it became so popular and people loved it that they just kept bringing her back for more and more, and it became more popular, and she became a DC staple. And they did the whole great backstory for Harley Quinn and gave her a really great personality, and thus here we are. And she really has become one of the more noticeable and popular and entertaining characters within the DC spectrum. And it's just crazy how characters really catch fire at certain moments, man. And it just takes a good voice acting performer to really bring to life a character that you never thought would really get that much play or that much popularity, man. And Harley Quinn is one of those instances where it just hit at the right time, and the voice actor was the right person for the job, and it was a colorful, unique, interesting character that I think people just latched onto, man, and people do to this day. We can kind of relate in an odd way to the weird and wild and crazy chick. I mean, we kind of can, man. I mean, most women in one instance or another are a little nutty. I mean, us guys can be crazy too, okay? Just speaking the facts, man. But I just like the fact that this chick is just completely out of her mind and just doesn't give two F's. And I just like how she plays all sides of the spectrum. She can be a good guy, she can be a bad guy, she can be an anti-hero. Like, she really is a great, well-rounded character, man, that really has become a staple for little girls dressing up like her for Halloween and making great blockbuster movies with Margot Robbie. And I mean, you never thought any of this stuff when that character was coming up, man. But hey, it just depends on if characters hit the right way and if the popularity soars at the right time. And it absolutely has, man. I think Harley is unique and fascinating and continues to be a character that you're always interested in where her loyalties lie, man. One day it could be with somebody else, and the next day she could be laughing it up with the Joker. You just never really know, dude. And I like that unpredictability of it, and I think she's rock solid, man. I really do. And I can't wait to see where the adventures of Harley Quinn go next, because wherever she goes, well, even though it'll be weird and even though it'll be mischievous, I'm kind of on board. A great hero needs a worthy foe and a legendary movie, and thus Batman Mask of the Phantasm exists. Yes, the 4K digital for $26.99. This is awesome. Oh my god, man. Seeing this get the 4K love, that is so sweet. Oh, sweet indeed. Oh, this movie is one of the best Batman movies ever. I dare you to disagree with me, motherfucker. I dare you to disagree with me, dude. Oh, man. This was one of the first animated Batman movies I ever saw, and I fell in love with the Caped Crusader. I mean, mind you, I was already a fan of him through the Adam West stuff, the reruns that I was seeing. Of course, the Tim Burton Batman, Michael Keaton shit. Of course, I was watching that, Batman Forever. I mean, you name it. But this movie, man, really opened my eyes to how creative a Batman movie could really be, man, and how dark and twisted it could become. It's so fucking phenomenal, so fantastic. I love the story in here and the voice acting and the dark and dreary setting, and I love the whole drama and complications with Joker and the Phantasm and the reveals and the mysteries, and it's so fucking good, man. I don't want to give anything away, man, because if you've never watched it, dude, you are in for one hell of a surprise. But if you have watched it, you know what I'm fucking talking about. This is so fucking good, man. Holy hell. This is one of the best, no doubt about it, man. And it really feels like it's really the template for every other Batman animated movie that came after it, and even some of the live action stuff, man. I mean, look, do I love the live action stuff? Absolutely, but there's something about the animation stuff, and I say this with any DC character, where you can just go balls out with your story and your characters and your situations and really just mine it for every story goal that it can, right? It's just possible to do that. And sometimes live action can't do that as well as animation can. And Mask of the Phantasm proves that, dude. This is a rock solid movie. One of the best for Batman and his rogue gallery of villains. And the storytelling is so brilliant, and it just really made me even more of a Batman fan than I already was. It really cemented my love for Batman in a big bad way, dude. This is so fucking awesome, man. This in 4K is a real fucking treat. For every Batman lover out there, and you know who you are, this is a must fucking own. There's no doubt about it, dude. Yeah, there's great Batman stories out there, live action and animation, but this one tops them all. Oh, so fucking good, man. God damn. That is a real fucking treat, dude. As is good old Target with their physical media love. Oh, they were definitely hitting out of the park, man. Some really solid releases. I think they definitely did their due diligence in a big bad way. Let's head out. Let's see here. Putting the physical media out. Check. Having a Tyler 2 we hadn't seen yet. Check. You know, outside of maybe not always having the widest variety of all time, I think Target wasn't doing half bad this week. Not half bad at all, man, considering that they had Mask of the Phantasm, which, come on, man, that is an essential for Batman lovers. They even had Cobweb, which Walmart didn't have, which is kind of weird to me. So Target has a horror flick that Walmart doesn't? What? Yeah, that's the fucking Twilight Zone. That's for damn sure, man. So overall, I gotta admit, they had the new release goodies. They had all of the physical media love on top of a few surprises as well. That's a win-win in my book. I can't say that Target is always this way. Can't say they're always good. But from time to time, they definitely do the trick. And this week, they definitely absolutely did, man. And, well, as you know, that always makes me a very happy physical media boy. And I know it does for you as well. Not bad, baby, not bad at all. Target was definitely showing the love, and I absolutely appreciate it. But, well, they had the goods, but will the other stores? Oh, let's go and check it all out.
All right, everybody. We are at our third location, the second Walmart. I'm going to go in and check out if there's any interesting indie titles we're showing off. If there is, I'll bring it back to Film Fan 108 HU and Toto to each and every one of you. But before I do that, I gotta talk about a trailer with you guys. And this holiday season, the chocolatier is back to embrace your imagination and desires for everything chocolate in Wonka. Ah, yes, more Willy Wonka love coming your way very, very soon, man. And I gotta admit, when I first heard about this movie, it was kind of complicated. I was kind of perplexed, man, because on one hand, I thought to myself, okay, more Wonka, newer generation makes sense. On the other hand, I thought, oh, God, why are we doing this, man? I mean, the old school Willy Wonka movie with Gene Wilder is classic, it's aces, it's iconic, it's nostalgic, it's the best, right? And anytime that you try to do a different version, it's kind of gone astray. Look at the Tim Burton and Johnny Depp movie, okay? I love those guys. But damn, they turned Wonka into a pederast, man. Damn, they did. Okay, look, if you like the movie, fair enough, but damn, they did Wonka dirty, okay? He comes off as really, really fucking creepy, and not in a good way. Ugh, not at all, man. I don't know, it just wasn't that good. The songs weren't as great. I like Tim Burton and his aesthetic, but it just didn't really work for Wonka. And so, alright. Well, they tried. Well, failed on their ass, but hey, it was an effort. We're done. We realized the original was so much better. We're never gonna do it again. Yeah, about that. Yeah, see, studios, they can't quite give up on IP and property, and so they're gonna make it regardless, but this time try to make it good. And from the trailer, I gotta admit, I'm kind of on board, slightly, sort of. I mean, I will admit this. I love Timothée Chalamet. I think he's a really solid actor, and I love the work that he's done. And him doing this type of role is very different than he's really done in his career, man. He's really taken a swing, and I like what he's bringing to it with the rhymes and the songs and the dances and the personality. I think he kind of gets Wonka down pretty good. He's not going for creepy. He's not going for, dark, foreboding. He's somebody who really wants to bring joy to the world through treats, through chocolate, through the imagination, and it's the corporate overlords that want to stomp him down, man. So Wonka has to take down the man to become the man. Okay, cool. Okay, why not, man? Hey, I'll take it. And I gotta admit, the songs look infectiously fun. It looks very colorful and bright and inviting, and it feels like this movie is not only for kids, but I think adults can come in here and really enjoy the Willy Wonka nostalgia. It kind of feels like they're catering to everybody here. It's definitely a movie that families can go to, and I think everybody can enjoy it, which I think is the way to honestly go. Not trying to overly reinvent the wheel, but maybe slightly skew it, not only for a new generation, but at the same time respect what came before. That's the right approach, and I think they're going for that, man. On top of that, it's directed by the same guy that directed Paddington and Paddington 2. And damn, man, those are really great movies. So if he brings that type of really great humor and messaging and emotion to this, like he did with the Paddington movies, I think it's going to be a winner, man. I really do. Like I said, you've got great actors here. Not only Timothée, but you've got Sally Hawkins and Olivia Colman. You've got Hugh Grant playing an Oompa Loompa, which I'm not quite sure how I feel about that yet. But I'm in the wait and see approach, okay? But I think overall, I get good vibes from the trailer, and it feels like this isn't necessarily just a cash grab for cash grab's sake. It kind of feels like they really wanted to make something meaningful with this movie and do something more than a slapdash project of, hey, we're just slapping Willy Wonka on this and putting it out there to make a buck or two. We actually want to make something that reinvents the brand, but also respects it at the same time. And with these type of actors and this type of director, I feel a little bit more confident about it. I'll be in the movie theater a little bit apprehensive, yes, because I love that Gene Wilder movie so much, but at the same time, you know what? I think this one deserves at least me keeping an open mind to it. I think it really does, man. You know, a lot of movies nowadays are really dark and depressing and paints a really fucked up sense of the world. And so, you know, it's nice to sometimes get a movie that reminds you that the world can be bright and wonderful and charming and imaginative. You just gotta open your mind to the possibilities, and Wonka definitely proves it. We'll see how good it is come the holiday season, but I'm gonna give it a chance. What about you guys? Definitely let me know. But what about physical media love? I mean, look, Walmart was delivering. Target was. Can the second Walmart? I'm not so sure, but how about we brave it and check it out?
All right, everybody, in at the good old second Walmart, and you know, some weeks I come in here and I'm ready to give up, but this week I'm soldiering through, baby. I realize that Walmart's got good shit, Target's got good shit, and this week is gonna be the week when the second Walmart proves that physical media is back in a big bad way. And do we have it? Does it prove my theory right? I'm gonna be honest with you, no fucking way. God damn, dude. I really wanted, I was psyched, baby, but psyched as I may be, that doesn't mean that the second Walmart is gonna actually give me what I want, and thus, here we are, man. Yet another week where it's just the same old stuff we've seen over and over again. There's nothing new and exciting and really mind-blowing as far as the weirdness and bizarro and ridiculousness. And God, that just saddens me. Ugh. My heart. Oh, my heart. Oh, yeah. So, yet another week where I'm absolutely disappointed. It just keeps happening over and over and over again. And yet I am the ever-hopeful optimist that will one day believe that it can get better here. But those days is not today. Not even close, man. So maybe next week, let's hope. This week is a big fat zippity-doo-dah. So, well, since there's nothing really here to show off, how about we go to some place that will hopefully have the physical media that I want.
All right, everybody, we're at our fourth and final location, and physical media is plentiful this week. It's got some highs. Well, I'm looking at you, second Walmart, for the lows, but hey, every place has been doing their due diligence, but sometimes the place to find it the best is at your local bookstore. I mean, hey, if they're carrying physical media already, why not the movies? Why not the movies indeed? So you know where we are at, none other than, yes, good old Barnes & Noble's back yet again for, hopefully, more physical media hijinks. Here's to hoping, folks. It's been good. We have some really great additions, some really interesting releases, and maybe Barnes & Noble will do the same. Let's hope, but how about we go in and see what they got?
All right, everybody, we are in at B&N for the movie Lovin' Hijinks. Hopefully there is. Not sure if I'm seeing any right up here, but I'm definitely seeing some down there. Yeah. Let's dive in, shall we? With a little bit of I Can Feel It in the Air Tonight. I could go a little bit more into the 80s soundtrack gold, but I think you've heard enough. With Air, a Blu-ray for $36 for a little bit of Michael Jordan appreciation. That ain't half bad. Not half bad at all, baby. And as I said earlier, it's crazy to think that a movie about a shoe can actually be exciting and interesting and unique and really make you root for the little guy, right? I mean, it's big corporations wanting to make money off of players and, you know, greed and shit, right? But in some ways, it depends on how you tell the story and the characters that you have, and if you're able to spin it into a relatable tale that people will definitely be engaged with. And there's a few times in cinema history where it actually has been pulled off rather successfully, mind you. I mean, look at a movie like Joy from 2015. You remember that flick? Yeah, the true story about the chick that invented the unique ringing mop. Yeah, it was such a phenomenon. Sold on QVC and so many different networks. And my God, man, that sold hundreds of thousands, practically millions of mops all across the country, man. and you think to yourself, like, wait a second, why would that be good for a movie? Like, how could that be dramatic and entertaining? But with the right approach, yeah, they kind of pulled it off, man. At least I kind of think they did. It wasn't half bad. Or you think a movie like Wolf of Wall Street, right? Okay, I know it's a crazy story in and of itself, but it's a lot of illegal activity and insider trading and a lot of sketchy stuff, right? In the wrong hands, it could become complicated and convoluted and an absolute mess. But when you have a true artiste like Martin Scorsese, man, I think he should put anything in his hands. I think it's pretty much a winner, and Wolf of Wall Street proved that it became an absolute cultural phenomenon. And, you know, people kind of thought, man, that illegal shit is kind of really cool and entertaining. Okay, maybe the wrong effect, but hey, they still pulled off a masterpiece, just saying, man. Or even look at a movie like The Big Short with Margot Robbie and Christian Bale and so many great people in that flick, man. I mean, it's about the impending housing crisis, the implosion of the market, the 2008, 2009 crash. And there's a part of you that's like, okay, that's cool for a documentary and everything, but how are they going to make it unique and interesting and fascinating for a movie? And damn, they actually really did. They packaged it in a way that made it, A, very relatable and easy to understand, which is not always the case, man. They pulled that off really well. Or even Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise. I mean, the idea of a big sports agent. Okay, yeah, sports is cool. Sports movies are great. Athletes are instantly entertaining, but an agent? That story? And again, Cameron Crowe, Tom Cruise, mixing a little bit of romance in there, and I think they made for a tale that actually captured a lot of audiences' hearts and actually kind of made Asians kind of cool. Well, at least for 15 minutes. Something like that, man. Or even think about a movie as recently as Tetris. Yeah, man. Dude, that's not a bad little movie about the beginnings of one of the most popular games in all of video game history, practically. And it's still kind of interesting just seeing that whole take and what they did with it and how you can spin the history and make it not only insightful, but actually kind of be intrigued by the beginnings of Tetris that you never really thought you would want to care about, but you actually kind of did, man. I mean, all things considered, it's pretty good. When packaged and done in a right way, it works, and it works really, really fucking well. Or my favorite of all of them probably has to be Moneyball. Man, you know, I went into Moneyball skeptical as a motherfucker. I'm like, okay, a movie about sabermetrics? A movie about analyzing players and their home runs and hits and at-bats and walks and pitches? And I'm like, okay, I mean, sure, why not give it a go? I mean, sure, everything's getting made these days. Why not a movie about analysis of baseball games? Sure, I'd just rather watch a fucking baseball game, but sure, go ahead, man. And what they did with that movie blew my mind away. I was so entertained by analytics that I never thought I'd be. The concept of Moneyball, the concept of not basing your structure on an evaluation of a player necessarily, or their looks, or their stance, or who they're dating, popularity, you name it, about the actual percentages of them as an actual player, actually making the argument that the reason why you're hiring this person, the reason why you're paying them X amount of dollars is not because of their personality or how many jerseys they're going to sell or whether they're going to get extra coverage on the local network and shit. I mean, it's about the actual metrics that make a player who they are and if they're worth it to put it on your team. Yes, they may be old. Yes, they may be out of touch. Yes, they may have issues with certain other players or coaches, you name it. But if they get on base, if they score, who gives a shit? And I like that idea behind that, is actually using the actual analytics and the metrics and the math to justify why you're actually doing this and putting a player on the roster and actually justifying the money that you're spending on them. And I thought that shit was fascinating. I never thought in a million years that a movie about, oh, well, this guy gets 96% on base, yeah, we should hire him. I'm like, okay, who really gives a shit? But again, if you package it in the perfect way, if you get the right actors and people that can relate the material to you in a way that makes it entertaining and accessible, then it works. And Moneyball is one of the best examples of it. And I agree with Air. I mean, just on its face alone, you say to yourself, okay, it's a movie about the Air Jordan shoe. Ooh, whoop-de-doo, Basil. Like, right? I mean, who could give a shit? But if it's done in a very relatable way, the underdog mentality, I think more people are going to come to the table. The idea of believing in this player when other people feel like it's just another cog in the machine, right? Okay, they're going to play a certain amount of years, we're going to sell a certain amount of units of shoes and move on to the next person, right? Wow, how special can this player really be at the end of the day? But when you believe in something higher than yourself, if you believe that this person not only can change the sport, but the actual pop culture zeitgeist and the world, then it becomes much more than just believing in one individual. It's about believing in a higher power, a movement, and believing that people can truly make a difference if done in the right way, man. And that's a story that's easily relatable, and people connect with that story, man. And so did I. And Air was a really great, perfect example of it. Just like Moneyball, just like Jerry Maguire, even Wolf of Wall Street, well, done in a kind of different mentality, but still, man. Again, you have to get the right filmmakers on board, the right actors, and really the right way to tell the story that really is going to grip people in that really great, entertaining, thrilling, edge of your seat, emotional response. And it's movies like Air that absolutely pull it off. And on top of that, man, Michael Jordan was a once-in-a-generation player, man. I mean, let's be real. He was somebody that changed the world in so many ways. Not only the sport of basketball, but just the idea of that shoe and what people felt when they put that shoe on. What it meant to buy that shoe, to put your hard-earned money into buying it. It wasn't just a shoe for the sake of being a shoe. It was people's hopes and dreams and feeling like you could step into the shoes of a superstar and feel it, man. And that's what's great about this movie, because at the end of the day, Ms. Jordan ends up saying, look, it's just a shoe until somebody steps into it. It's just a basic putting it on your feet until somebody actually makes it into something more meaningful. And that's what Air Jordan became, man. And you know, we look at players like LeBron and a lot of these other people, Dwayne Wade, you name it, and those people wouldn't have the type of status that they have if it wasn't for people like Michael Jordan that really not only monetized sports in a really unique way and a groundbreaking way, but really paved the road for all the superstars that came after him, man. And it's movies like Air that really prove that, you know, with the right player, with the right approach, with the right mentality, you can change the world in more ways than one, and Air definitely does it, man. Not bad. It's kind of a shame that there's no special features here, man. I mean, seriously, this is a phenomenal movie. I would have loved a commentary or a featurette. Dude, it really is just a great, amazing moment in cinema to take a shoe and really turn it into this inspirational story, man. I don't know if many movies will ever be able to truly pull it off, but give Ben Affleck and all these actors credit, man, because when it's done right, it truly shines. And Air, man, kind of makes me want to buy Air Jordans now. Lord knows I'd pay up the ass, but maybe it'd be worth it.
If you thought Vegas was wild, get your ass to Asia. What happens in Asia? Well, it doesn't stay there. Enjoy Ride, the Blu-ray DVD digital for $40, okay? Well, hey, a little bit of raunchy comedy goodness. Well, considering we don't get it that much anymore, well, 40's a goddamn bargain. Indeed it is, man, because this movie is really in a great tradition among many fantastic raunchy comedies, man. I love old school raunchy comedies because I kind of feel like over the years people can't really take a joke anymore, okay? And it's just the truth. And sometimes, look, I understand that we change as a society, and sometimes we change for the better, and other times not so much, man. And look, I grew up, you gotta remember, guys, that when I was growing up, I got picked on for everything under the sun, whether it was me wearing glasses, or not as tall as the other kids, or because I was Jewish, or because of my acne, or what I was wearing. I mean, you name it. And at a certain point, I had to have a thick skin, right? I had to take on everything on the chin, on the shoulder, and I just had to roll with the punches. Was it right? No. Was it fair? Absolutely fucking not, man. But that was school. That was people back in the day. In fact, I'd argue it's even worse now with social media and the internet and Facebook and you name it, man. I mean, it ain't easy nowadays being a kid. It wasn't back in the day, and it certainly isn't now. But I think that's why I loved raunchy comedies as much as I did, because it was cool to see people like you, the lovable losers, kind of get one up on some of the bad guys, some of the bullies, and also have fun realizing that, wow, maybe I could get the hot chick if I was cool like that, or getting some crazy hijinks shit, you know what I mean? I mean, it was fun, and it was entertaining, and it took my mind off of shit, and it really made me appreciate the idea of not taking it as seriously as maybe I was at that time, man. Just kind of laughing it off, dude. And that's what raunchy comedies do, at least for me, man. Movies like Porky's, alright? Animal House, Road Trip. Oh, Lord, man. Road Trip was a fucking crazy-ass ride. Man, actually, one of the only movies I actually kind of like Tom Green in. Well, maybe just the only movie I like Tom Green in, man. That's a great flick. Hell, The Hangover. Dude, one of the best modern day raunchy comedies of all time. Or you look at movies like PCU back in the day, or the Harold and Kumar flicks, which I love so much. American Pie back in the late 90s, or even newer stuff like Booksmart, which I think over time will definitely become a movie that people will embrace even more, definitely become a classic, possibly. I mean, raunchy comedies are really great, and those are just a few examples, man. There's so many great examples out there that are just as entertaining, as iconic, and just as goddamn hilarious, man. Other newer stuff like Blockers, which is really great too. So there is some really great examples out there, man, but you are finding that over the years, we are getting less and less of these, man, and it's just the sensibilities of the times and the idea that we gotta kind of tread water a little bit. We can't do this, we can't do that, because we're gonna offend somebody, and
look, I get it, but at the same time, sometimes we just gotta say fuck it, man. Sometimes we just gotta let loose a little bit and just go for it. That's what I really liked about Joyride, and the fact that it was fearless in that way. The fact that it didn't give a shit and just went for the craziest, raunchiest, wildest shit and was like, hey, you're either gonna like it or you're not. Hopefully you do, hopefully you're on board with us, but we have the don't give a fuck attitude. And it's those old school movies that really had that I think really made it far more entertaining than it had any right to be, man. Or even the fact that, yes, it does have a little bit of that messaging and then relatability and some of that heart. Yes, you can put it into wild, raunchy comedies. It is possible. You can backdoor that shit in, man. Some do it a little bit more subtle than others, but it is possible, man. So, look, what I'm trying to say here is cherish a movie like Joyride because they're just not being made much anymore, man. They're just not, man. Big executives see movies like this flop at the box office and they say no one's watching this shit. And maybe the advertisement wasn't as good. Maybe word of mouth, didn't really create the buzz that they wanted. I mean, you could blame it on so many different avenues, right? So many different ways where it went wrong. But look, we're living in a world now where comedies are failing like a motherfucker. They're just not very funny. And for me, a lot of the new comedians out there just don't slap the way that Andrew Dice Clay or Rodney Dangerfield, Bob Saget, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock. I could go on and on, man. I mean, really great old school comedians that really went for the gut punch, and now not so much anymore, man. I miss the old days. This is pretty much what I'm saying, dude. Okay, it really is the truth. But nowadays, in a sea of mundane and playing it safe comedies, Joyride is an exception to the rule, and I'm damn glad for it, man. It didn't used to be this way, and now it is. And so hold on to the old school stuff, absolutely, but cherish the ones that remind you of the old school stuff, the ones that really break away from the trend, because you might not see them for much longer. Just saying, man. I mean, you do get some interesting special features, some interesting making-ofs, deleted scenes, trailers, sing-alongs. What the fuck? Oh yeah, that old K-pop shit. I don't get it, but as long as somebody does, what the fuck? I mean, seriously, man. Look, this reminded me of some of the really great stuff I loved growing up, man. And yes, it's not perfect, and it stumbles a little bit here and there, and not every joke immediately is the most funniest thing you've ever seen. But it tries, and it really goes for it, man. And where comedies now are just not really doing it, Joyride is succeeding in spades, man. Man, even to think, like, not even all that long ago, we had movies like The Hangover and American Pie, and a lot of those movies now feel ancient. That's how far away we've gotten from really good comedies and really crazy, wild tales. We need to get back to the ridiculousness, to the nuttiness, to the bizarre, situational, sexual comedies, man. And if Joyride kind of does its due diligence and kind of makes you long for the old school days, then I think it's pretty well an achievement, man. Hold on to it tight, embrace it. It might not be the funniest thing you've ever seen, but as far as comedies go these days, it's a goddamn revelation.
You want to learn karate? I mean, you could go to those other schools, but they're fucking pussies. You want to go to Cobra Kai. Yeah, season 5, baby, the DVD for $31, actually, for some Karate Kid spin-off kick-assery. Damn, that's a steal. Oh, damn it is indeed, man. Oh, man. And it's so sad to say this, but
we're almost at the end of our Cobra Kai journey. That is fucking crazy. That is wild to me, guys. We've got one more season. That is it, man. They said season 6 is going to be the final one. After that, it's done. It's been fun. It's been real. We actually extended our life way more than we ever thought we were. Because if you remember, season 1 and 2 was on the YouTube platform, right? Their paid service that literally went down the shitter really fucking fast. It was only because of Cobra Kai that it even lasted as long as it fucking did. And then they were like, well, we're not going to make any more. And then Netflix picked it up. Now, look, we can argue about Netflix all day long and a lot of the shady shit that Netflix has done, we can do it, but you've got to praise the fact that they picked it up when no one else would, and we got glorious extra seasons, and man, have they been glorious indeed, dude. So I am looking forward, and also really saddened by the fact that it's going to be ending soon. Once the writers and actors strike ends, hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll get ready to film and finish season 6. God damn, man. I hope it ends good. That's all I'm hoping for, man. Satisfying conclusion. I feel like my time was worth it. But man, the journey has been fucking epic, dude. And at the end of the day, I gotta admit that for me, Cobra Kai really builds on the legacy of Karate Kid. All of those original Karate Kid films, they're really good for what they were and really solid, and I liked the nostalgia and the characters and the kitschy karate and shit. But let's be real though, those Karate Kid movies, they were kind of forgotten. I mean, the people who loved them, but nobody was really remembering them. They weren't as popular as they used to be way back in the day. And if it wasn't for a series like Cobra Kai, those Karate Kid flicks would have just kind of faded into existence. I mean, maybe not the first one necessarily, but some of the sequels, yeah, just kind of fell by the wayside of cinema history, man. And Cobra Kai really reminded us how great those movies are, how fucking awesome those characters were, and how you could really spin them into this great modern day take. And it's the reinvention of this series and of this franchise that has made it absolutely worth it, man. I mean, I never knew in my life that I really wanted more Terry Silver, but I'm so fucking thankful to get it, man. And now, with the success of Cobra Kai, there's so many other shows that are trying to come back and do new iterations, right? There's a new fucking series coming out of Frasier. Who fucking wanted Frasier? Who did, dude? But I guess with nostalgia making a big comeback and the fact that series like Cobra Kai have really hit big, I think a lot of streamers are like, oh, what properties do we have that we can bring back for nostalgia's sake? Oh, this property and this property over here and that property. And it's all about cashing in now. It's all about nostalgia at the end of the day. And sometimes a lot of these storytellers and creators and script writers and actors, they don't really care about the material. They just want to make a property and try to get eyeballs on it enough to make a little bit of money at the end of the day, right? There's only very few people who are actually fans enough of the old school material and fans enough of the characters that want to treat it with enough respect that not only do you want to create something new, but also reignite the love and the passion for the franchise that they fell in love with in the first place. And that's exactly what you get with Cobra motherfucking Kai, man. Look, I'm always going to appreciate Daniel San, Johnny Lawrence, Chris, slithering Terry Silver. I mean, come on. Mr. fucking Miyagi? Those are movies that I grew up on. But it's nice to see a whole new generation of fans that are really finding this and loving it and appreciating and going back and reevaluating those original Karate Kid films, man. And it's fans like me that have found this show and couldn't believe that the impossible became possible. And yet at the same time, it's really become this moment in the sun for this franchise that will never happen again, man. I mean, I thought when that Jackie Chan movie came out, that Karate Kid reboot, that I thought that we were going to have a whole new legacy of Karate Kid, and that movie came and went pretty fast, man. I mean, it was a good movie, it wasn't bad or nothing, but it didn't really re-engage the fan base and find a new generation of lovers out there. It took creators who really had a passion for this series to really not only bring those old school characters back, but bring them in a way that excited people, and the storylines and the drama, and it became appointment television. It truly did. And for me, man, it's hard to see this ever happening again. Maybe it will years from now with another property down the line. Maybe it will, man. But nostalgia, if done right, can be really powerful, and it can bring in new fans and old school fans, and everybody can enjoy it all in one. And it's a really great moment in the sun, and Cobra Kai is that, man. So fucking good. Way better than it has any right to be. And let's hope that they stick the landing, and let's hope that when it's all said and done, Cobra Kai will be one of those truly great, unpredictable series that you never know you needed, but you're damn glad that you have. Oh, that's for damn sure, man. I mean, you get deleted and extended scenes, blooper reel, a few featurettes here and there, but it's a series that is truly, and I mean truly, king, man. Good old crazy karate, drama up the ass, and characters that you just love to either really love or, well, really hate. Either way, man, it's great, dramatic, soap opera television, and I'm here for every single minute of it. Oh, more Cobra Kai love? Well, hey, if they're making it, you bet your ass I'm watching it, because I'll always be a fan. Wax on, wax off, Cobra Kai, no mercy. I was an old school fan, and I'm still a fan, and something tells me that Cobra Kai, well, it never truly dies, baby.
Zombie apocalypse is alive and well in The Walking Dead, Dead City here. Season 1 for $26. Actually, not gonna lie, that's kind of reasonable. I'm wondering if it's a misprint. I kind of do, dude, but hey, take what I can get for a little bit of Walking Dead love, because quite frankly, I'm not gonna lie, man, I was pooped out of The Walking Dead by season 8, man. I was gone, and I know a lot of fans came and went and came back and then left again and came back. It's kind of like a jilted relationship at this point, isn't it? Where you're kind of like, I hate you, but I love you, and people are telling me to go back to you, and I do, and we're in love for a while, and it's so wonderful, and then suddenly, oh, you disappoint me so many times, I gotta leave again. But then again, people are telling me that I should take you back, and I do, and it's kind of good, and then I'm just jilted by your ignorance and the fact that you don't love me anymore. And it's just like rinse, recycle, repeat all over again, man. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? And like, oh man. And there's been so many spin-offs already, and some of them have just not really done all that well, and they haven't really caught the same type of popular zeitgeist that the original Walking Dead did. And I think they just don't want to let this thing go, man. I think they feel like there's still a lot of money to be made, and there's still a lot of this series to exploit and the characters, and they're just like, fuck, man, we're just going to literally wring every fucking dollar out of fans, man, because why the fuck not, dude? The Walking Dead is such a popular IP property that, well, if you don't like this one, well, what about this one over here, right? I mean, that's pretty much what it is, dude. And was I ultimately surprised by how many spin-offs got announced? No, not necessarily, because I knew we were probably going to go down that road, but
Was I still disappointed? Yeah, I kind of was disappointed at the end of the day, dude. But I will say this much, that if the series are good, right, and everything that's I'm hearing and people are pointing out is basically saying, look, this is good. It's not bad. Yes, does it have some faults to it? Sure. I mean, this far into a franchise and spin-offs, that there's going to be some complications and there's going to be some not quite great moments. Okay, I get it, man. But a lot of people are like, dude, this is way better than it really should be. And the idea that you still have characters that are interesting and unique and different sides of the coin, and moments where you think they're good but they could be bad, and moments where you think that they're gonna save the day and they flip on you, like the allegiances and the alliances and the deception and the backstabbing. I mean, you kind of like Walking Dead for that, man. As much as it's about zombies, and of course I've always said that it should be about zombies, it's also about the human condition, the human element, and the fact that who can you really trust? I mean, the zombies are what they are, but they're just out to eat you. They're just out to basically tear your flesh. It's the humans that you gotta worry about the most, man. And sometimes that has worked out well for The Walking Dead, and sometimes it's fallen flat on its ass. It's nice to see that this is good, and it's nice to see different parts of the world being represented. We were in this little tight area in space, and it's nice to see places like New York City getting represented, or I think even the Daryl Dixon show is going overseas, I think that show takes place overseas. I'm not quite entirely sure, but seeing different sides of the zombie apocalypse, seeing different sides of the dilemma in other cities and countries is really unique and really interesting, and I like that idea behind it. It's just the execution, whether it's going to be worth it or not at the end of the day, man. I don't know. Look, I'm kind of waffling back and forth, man. I kind of want to watch this, but I'm also realizing that I kind of have to catch up with The Walking Dead in order to do it. And something tells me that I might have to actually kind of watch some of the Fear show in order to do that too, and I really don't want to. Do I have to, though? Can I just go into Walking Dead, Dead City, and not having watched the other stuff, or do I really have to? Is it really important to at least watch through The Walking Dead? Because if I gotta do, I guess I will. I've kind of been going back and forth on even revisiting that, man, because there's moments where I want to, and there's moments like, dude, man, when Glenn and Abraham got killed, man, that was the peak. And everything after that has just went like crash and fucking burn, man. But then again, a lot of people have said that it got very cool and really great, and some really seedy bad guys, and it got really intriguing, and then it kind of went down the shitter again. I'm like, shit, I don't know, man. So the ultimate legacy of The Walking Dead, I don't think it's completely been written yet. I don't know if it can, man. With all of these spin-offs and the fact that it's still going on, it's hard to evaluate where it will ultimately be in the cultural zeitgeist. Is it appointment television anymore? No, I don't really think it is. You've got the hardcore fans, and those are the people that are watching it, and occasionally you get a zombie lover that kind of comes in and wants to watch it and see what it is. But I think at this point, the series, even the spin-offs, they're just kind of treading water at this point. And I wonder when the company, when the studio, when the creators finally say, you know what, look, man, we've done everything we could with this. There's nothing left to go. We've said our piece. Let's just end it all, man. But I don't think that's ending anytime soon, man. I mean, you look at a show like Supernatural, which lasted 15 fucking seasons, man. And for a lot of people, they pretty much said that that show should have ended way sooner. And it probably would have been better had it done that, man. You look at shows like Stargate SG-1, which I loved, but that went on for 10 seasons, and it probably should have ended 2 seasons earlier than it did. I mean, shows like The Flash or CW, I mean, we're having it with Yellowstone right now. The idea that Yellowstone is so fucking popular, and there's so many spin-offs, and they're not gonna end that anytime soon. Why the fuck would they end it, man? They're making money hand over fist, dude. And sometimes you just don't know when to fucking quit. And then there's other moments like with Cobra Kai when you think to yourself, okay, they kind of realize that they're running out of story, that it is very popular still. People are really watching it. They want to dive into it, and I mean, appointment television still, but they realize that, look, we better end this before we continue to spin our wheels way too much. Sometimes you know when to end a good thing, and sometimes you know that, well, yeah, ending it. Well, yeah, about that. Yeah, they're just not gonna do it, man. So I'm curious to see at the end of the day where these spin-offs go. Will they be popular? Will people really want to engage with them and watch them? And how much longer The Walking Dead really survives, man. I mean, as long as we have the popular characters like Rick and Michonne and Daryl and Negan and Maggie, I think it will continue for a while, because as long as those characters are popular, as long as you're keeping them in the franchise, people will want to watch it. But at a certain point, every franchise dies. Whether you know it or not is a whole nother angle, man. So what do you guys think? Do you think that The Walking Dead should still be around, should still continue? I mean, it's nice to get cool new stories that people actually like, but how long does that really last? Eventually, every series has its low points. And when that happens, that's when the criticism will start, man. Hey, it's happened before with The Walking Dead, and it will happen again, man. Can't wait for that day, man, because Lord knows, dude, with every series comes that moment where you question why it's still on TV. And I think with The Walking Dead, we're way past that phase. We're now just in, hey, it exists. Deal with it. That's pretty much what it is, man. Good luck to The Walking Dead, Dead City, and with its one special feature from WonderCon. Ooh, I wonder what they said in the panel. Probably absolutely nothing. God damn, dude. I used to love The Walking Dead. I used to be a fucking fanboy. I used to watch the fucking after shows, dude. Swear to God, the whole after stuff where they talk to the actors about the storylines and shit, and about, oh, how did you make the zombie effects and shit. Like, I used to watch that stuff, man. And after a while, I realized that, dude, this series was just spinning its fucking wheels, and I just can't stick around anymore. The good days are long gone, and I realized it way before a lot of other fans did. You know, sometimes you just love something so much that you just stick around out of obligation. It's not because you love it anymore, because you just want to watch it. It was the same way with me with Stargate SG-1. I loved it so much that I just kept watching, even though the show kind of got shitty after a while. I just kept going with it because I just couldn't step away because I was such a fan. Sometimes we have to learn our lessons the hard way. The Walking Dead has been around for so long, and it will continue to. In what form, in what fashion, in what way, and how many fans will it carry along? I guess only time will tell. The legacy of The Walking Dead will be an interesting one, but I guess it's gotta die before it can officially have the legacy angle to it. And when that happens, nobody really knows. Poker face. I wanna hold them like they do in Texas. Oh, we'll love them like them. Wait a minute. Oh, it's not based on the Lady Gaga song. Ah, shit. Oh, man. Season 1 of Poker Face for $29. Well, yeah, I feel kind of like an idiot now. Not the first time, and definitely not the last time, but maybe she can solve the crime. Maybe she can indeed, yes, because I got a chance to watch this on Peacock, because, well, since I actually subscribe to that service, I might as well watch something of it. I might as well indeed, man. And also, I watched it because of Natasha Lyonne. Man, I am a Natasha Lyonne fan. Seriously, whether it's way back in the day with the American Pie movies, or The Slums of Beverly Hills. You remember that movie with Alan Arkin? That was so good. Or Krippendorf's Tribe with Richard Dreyfuss. Nobody really remembers that movie, but I do. Oh, man. Or All About Evil. And she's so great as an actress, man. Highly underrated. I've loved a lot of what she's done, her work, and I continue to this day, man. Every now and again, I kind of see her in something. I'm like, oh, yeah. Natasha Lyonne. God, I missed her, dude. And so this was one of those moments where I was like, oh, a new show? Natasha Lyonne is in it? I might have to give that a watch, man. And basically, it's about Charlie, played by Natasha, and she's this down on her luck cocktail waitress, and she's got issues, a whole lot of them. But one of the things that she actually has that benefits her is that she can tell when somebody is lying. Literally. She can sniff out the truth. Just looking in somebody's eyes or talking to them on the phone, she instantly knows when they're really being honest or lying through their teeth. And it's a genuine and unique ability that she has, and people try to exploit it. But when she crossed paths with a bloodthirsty mobster and gets blamed for a death that was not even close to being her fault, she's on the run, and hopefully the Vegas mobsters aren't going to find her. But while she's on the run, while she's going to town and trying to evade the bad guys, she's kind of encountering more seedy people along the way. Unique and fascinating deaths and situations that she has to solve. Every new episode is a new complication and a new mystery that she has to uncover while evading the mobsters and the people that are after her ass, man. And that's the whole premise of the show. And at first, I was kind of like, that's it? That's all there is? Because I was thinking to myself, okay, that's really episodic television, man. I was hoping for a little bit more. And there is an ongoing thread with the mobsters trying to find her, and she's close to being caught, but then gets away, etc., etc. But mostly it's just going from one crime scene to the next and just stumbling upon death and murder and weird and complicated individuals, man. She just has that type of luck. I mean, she really does. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of going with this. But after I kept watching multiple episodes, I was getting more invested with her as a character and her abilities, and almost like this just quirky chick that happens to find herself in these odd situations over and fucking over again, and the unique individuals that she meets along the way. And it became very fun and just a breeze to watch, man. I mean, these episodes are 40 to 50, sometimes an hour episode, and I'm gonna tell you, I really like how they write the characters and the actors, and just a lot of the wild situations that this chick goes through, man. And it's really entertaining. And she's kind of like the female version of Columbo. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between Poker Face and Columbo. Seriously, I mean, obviously he's a detective and he's solving crimes and murders, and she's doing the same thing. But also, every episode of this show starts off with some crazy and wild murder or complication that happens, and then she has to solve it, right? It's sort of like backtracking. And it's the same thing with Columbo. If you remember, guys, true story here, if you remember back in the day that most of the Columbo episodes started with the crime happening first, and then Columbo would have to solve it. So you already knew what happened, and then he'd have to go back and, through his wit and grit and determination and wry sense of humor, try to catch the killer in the process. That's exactly the same thing that happens in Poker Face, man. Swear to God. So there's a lot more similarities to Columbo than you ever would have thought, man. Seriously, it's kind of wild to even think that, dude. Instead of a grouchy old guy, it's Natasha Lyonne. Why not, man? Of course, she's nowhere near a detective, not as classy as Columbo, but she has her own ways of deduction, I suppose. Hey, it gets the job done, man. I thought it was fun. I thought it was incredibly entertaining, and
I love Natasha Lyonne's dry sense of humor and wit and personality, and it comes through in spades in Poker Face, man. I just love that, and she shines in this show so much, and the guest stars are so amazing. I mean, look at some of these people: Hong Chow, Nick Nolte, Tim Blake Nelson, Ron Perlman, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Benjamin Bratt's great, Adrian Brody was so awesome, man. Dude, he was fantastic. I mean, the guest stars shine in here as well. They're not just cameos for cameo's sake. They really have some really great dialogue and some moments to really showcase their talent, man. And I really like that, dude. I don't know if there's going to be a second season or not. It would kind of be cool if there would be. I'd be down for it, actually. I kind of liked it. I had fun with it. It wasn't the best television I've ever seen. I don't necessarily think it's appointment television, but I had a good time with it, and the episodes breezed by, and I had fun, and the murders were kind of unique and fascinating, and I liked how she solved them and just went on to the next situation, man. It was cool. I liked it. It did the trick. It really did, man. It wasn't half bad, dude. I don't know what I was expecting out of it. I mean, I was hoping for a good time, and I got it, man. If you're looking for a different style of detective tales, then give Poker Face a chance. It's not as classic as Columbo, but hell, I had a good time with it. Not bad, man. Not bad at all. Way better than it kind of had any right to be. And Natasha Lyonne, well, let me tell you something. She can tell whether I'm telling the truth or lying any day of the week. As long as I don't kill somebody, I think I'm pretty safe. Dude, I am, man. Not half bad. Not half bad at all, man. A little bit of a surprise there in the streaming situation. Hey, not every streaming show is good. Not every streaming show is bad. Sometimes you just want to have a good time, and Poker Face is definitely one of them. Interesting indeed. Some television love for sure. Not bad. Some of the movie gold as well. Not bad for good old B&N. They were definitely doing their due diligence, and I was definitely liking it. Pretty solid. Let's head out. Barnes and Noble. Be doing that due diligence. Indeed they are, baby. Not bad. Now, not exactly crazy, wildly plentiful, but they had just enough. Definitely keep me satisfied. Oh, indeed they did. A few new releases, maybe a title or two that we hadn't seen yet. Not too shabby. Not too shabby indeed. I'll definitely take it. As with most stores, I'll definitely take the love that they're giving the physical media goodness. You know what I'm saying? Oh, absolutely, baby. And I don't know for sure that you agree with me. Well, at least I kind of hope. If you're watching this channel, you love physical media, so you love what the stores are giving us. Because if you don't, why the hell are you watching in the first place? But hey, you know you dig it. I definitely do. The stores have been pretty sweet to us overall, but now I think it's time to finally head home and finish the video. Alright, everybody, that'll do it for the Blu-ray and DVD out and about video this week. And hey, most of the stores were definitely showing the appreciation. Not all, but most, and I'll definitely take it, man. I mean, we got some great variety of releases, interesting additions, unique artwork, you name it. And to be honest with you, that's all I can really ask for, because look, I've been around the block a time or two. I know that the in-store love isn't always the greatest at times, so when you get a rock solid release week, pretty decent one, you definitely got to take advantage of it and appreciate it. And oh, I definitely do. Hopefully you picked up something good. There was a unique variety out there, that's for sure, man. Hopefully you found something good. If you did, definitely let me know. As far as I'm concerned, well, yeah, I picked up some shit. Of course I did. Did you guys really think I was gonna leave you guys hanging? I never do that, man. Never at all, man. Yes, even some in-store goodness, because with this title, look, man, I guess I could watch it on streaming anytime I wish, but if you really love a movie, I've always said buy the physical media copy, and with this one, I'd definitely be doing it when I be buying air. Oh, man. Damn, this movie is so phenomenal, so fan-fucking-tastic. I mean,
the acting, the directing, the story, the relatable characters, the emotion. It really is a great inspirational underdog story. And when you think about, okay, like the Nike Corporation and Michael Jordan, that doesn't exactly scream underdog, but you gotta watch the movie, man. You'll know what I'm saying, man. You really will, dude. This is such a really creative movie, taking a story that doesn't feel very right to be telling, right? I mean, think about it. We're just making a movie about a fucking shoe. I mean, when you break it down like that, in some ways you're like, okay, why are we even telling this fucking story? I mean, why can't they just make a documentary on it and call it a day? But with the right people behind and in front of the camera, you can do absolute wonders, and this is definitely one of those times, man. It really is a just great, amazing, in my opinion, work of art. It truly is. Taking a movie about a corporation wanting to make a shoe from a player's image and potential popularity and turn it into this really great, inspiring, and relatable tale that people really gravitated to and were absolutely entertained by. It's shocking, but at times you can really pull off the impossible, and Air proves it, man. I had to get my physical media copy. I had to, because it just was too damn good not to, man. And damn glad to have a little bit more Ben Affleck, Matt Damon in the collection. Can't say I'm a big sports fan all the time. Casual at best. But, hey, even Michael Jordan needs a place in the collection. Oh, you bet your ass he does. Not bad, baby. Not bad at all. But that's not the only new release in the stores I got, man. Because this one, I'm so glad that I found a copy. Because I'm realizing that finding one in retail stores is like finding a diamond in the fucking rough, man. I am dead serious. Because this is going to be, sooner or later, a rarity. And I'm damn glad to get my copy now rather than later. And that is none other than Cobweb. Oh, man. Oh, baby, this movie. You know what? I was kind of shocked. Because I'm realizing, okay, this came out from a major studio. It doesn't have major popular actors out there, but it was a wide release. It was in movie theaters, so you would think it would have more copies out there than you're actually seeing, or at least I'm seeing. Why is it not as readily available as it ought to be? Because Walmart right now isn't carrying it. I mean, maybe your Walmarts are, hopefully they are, but, well, if so, I'm sure they're not getting many copies. On top of that, Target only had a copy here, a copy there. I literally went on Best Buy's website just to see, right? Did Best Buy have any? And literally, if you go on to the Best Buy website, unless it's changed, it says sold out. No Best Buy store or the Best Buy website is even carrying Cobweb. Now, you can probably get it through Amazon and maybe some other online retailers here and there, but outside of that, as far as the in-store retail media, very few and far between, man. Barnes & Nobles didn't have any. I mean, you name it. This is scarce, and I'm kind of shocked by that, man. But then again, you know, I've noticed over the years doing these videos that there's certain titles that are new releases that get a little bit of physical media love in the stores, and then maybe a few weeks pass by, a month, and then you never see it in the stores again. It just absolutely disappears for some crazy, wild reason. It's happened a time or two, man. Really think about it. There's been certain releases that maybe weren't the most high profile or not the most popular. They still got some releases in the stores, but once those copies sold, there wasn't really much more of a demand for it, and, well, they stopped carrying the shit. It's just wild, man, and it does happen And I kind of feel like Cobweb is the same thing, but I'm telling you guys, don't sleep on this movie. Don't do it, because it is a phenomenal horror flick. It is really, really exceptional, dark, twisted, terrifying. I really dug this movie, man. It goes in some really crazy places. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and it really feels like it's telling a very concise tale. And once it gets really nuts, it gets fucking wild and crazy. The gore and the blood, and man, it's so creepy and intense, and I love the acting. And you know, nowadays I've seen so many horror flicks, guys. I've seen so many over the years that you can tell where things are going a mile away. Not always with this flick. It has unpredictable moments. It has ones where if you think it's going to turn left, it turns right. And I really love that, man. It reminded me of movies like Malignant recently, man, where there's a unique twist, and once it happens, damn, man, did they go full throttle. It is really, really fucking good, man. Again, this is another one of those movies where it really has no business being as good as it actually is, but it's one of those ones where it just got swallowed up by the hype of other films at the box office. People rarely saw it, but the ones who did really appreciated it, and I'm telling you, once I saw it, I knew I had to buy this goddamn thing. I knew it had to get in the collection, man, because it's just that fucking good, dude. If you are interested in some new horror goodness to really watch during the spooky holiday season, give this one a go, man. I'm telling you, it's way better than you think it's going to be. I was surprised, and I'm thinking you're going to be as well, man. But I needed a copy. I did, because something tells me in weeks to come, if you find this in the stores, you're going to be damn lucky. Just saying, man. Get your copy while you can, because it ain't going to last long. Just spitting facts, okay? Just spitting facts indeed. Not bad for a little Cobweb love. Not many special features, but it's in my hand. It's going in the collection. And I'm glad I got my copy. Just saying, baby. Just saying indeed. Horror still reigns supreme. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort to find the good shit, but when you do, cherish it. Because, well, we live in a sea of mediocrity sometimes, and, well, a lot of the shit floats to the surface. And sometimes you gotta wade in a little deeper to find the good stuff. But at the end of the day, you'll thank me. Okay? You will indeed. But speaking of horror, oh, I had to buy a little bit more horror love for the collection. 'Tis the season, after all. And I knew I had to pick this up, okay? As a fan of 80s horror, as a fan of creature features, when MVD announced this, it had to be mine. Oh, it really did. Because watch out for what's coming out of the toilet, because, well, they'll get you in the end. With Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2. Oh, yes. The MVD Blu-ray love, man. I love the slipcovers here. Look at that, man, with the cool, like, stickers and everything. Oh, they're so great, man. God, I love this shit, dude. Now, I love this series. Is it cheesy? Is it ridiculous? Is it over the top? Yeah. And your point? It's just so great, man. And I love the little monsters here and everything, and just how they're rampaging and killing people and just causing all kinds of chaos and trouble. I just love that shit, man. And yes, I did own the Scream Factory double feature, okay? I did own that for a long time. But I've told you guys before, I'm a little indifferent about double features. I don't mind having double features in the collection. I do at times when there's no other options, but I like the individual releases. There's something about the individual ones where it gets their own spotlight, it gets their own release, and you can cherish each and every one separately, which I kind of love, man. I don't know, I'm just that type of collector, sue me, okay? And MVD announcing these, I knew I had to pick them up, man, and it's just great. I love it, with the great slipcovers and the special features that were carried over. So phenomenal. Now, MVD, hear me. Release Ghoulies 3 and Ghoulies 4 and I'll love you forever, okay? Those are the two that I'm waiting for, man, okay? I have an old school DVD release of Ghoulies 4, man, that is completely out of print. I'd like to be able to get a Blu-ray copy at some point of these goddamn older movies. I got Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2. Give me the other two, damn it. Give me the other two indeed, but more Ghoulies love to add to the collection is never, and I mean never, a bad thing, especially when it comes to MVDs, though. Oh, come on. 80's cheese is some good shit. Oh, it is indeed. So fan-fucking-tastic. But this next thing I'm going to show you guys. Okay. We've had it good so far with what I've picked up. But this, I'm going to start to have a fucking rant over, okay? And I'm hoping somebody takes this clip and sends it to the fucking company. Because they deserve to be fucking bitched at and ranted at in a major fucking way, okay? So, as you guys know, I sometimes go out of my way, depending on the project, to do Kickstarters and Indiegogos and support that stuff, right? I know that it's going to be years until I see the final product. I know that I'm just kind of blindly giving hope that, you know, I'm not getting scammed or some shit, right? I get it. But sometimes certain projects are worth giving your money to, and this is one of them. And if you guys have been at Walmart a time or two recently, you'll notice that there was a Robert Englund documentary that came out. And if any of you really know me, you know I'm a huge Robert Englund fan. I love that fucking guy. I think he is one of the best horror icons of all time. He is up there, in my estimation, one of the greats. And I would love to meet him. I would love to get his autograph. Sadly, that hasn't happened yet. But when I heard about this documentary, I knew I had to be a part of this. And when they were doing the crowdfunding campaign, I knew I had to contribute to that. And I did. And so I didn't pick up the Steelbook because I was getting an edition straight from the company that was actually going to put out the documentary itself. So while everybody was getting the Steelbook, I was waiting for my copy, and thus came in the mail. Now, you'll notice that it's opened. I didn't open it. Just so you guys know, it came that way, all right? I'm just spitting facts. It was barely sealed. It just came just open like this. I'm like, really? Okay. Well, that was the first sign that I should have been worried. But here's another sign, okay? Because once I saw what was inside this, paying the amount of money that I did to help crowdfund it, I should have gotten better, man. Goddamn. Okay, so I got Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares. Yes, the Robert Englund story. Look at this. This is cool. I mean, right? Look at that. The unique slipcover and underneath. Oh, look at that. Ooh, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Here's the problem. Look at this fucking slipcover, okay? Come on, look at it. It's all fucking dented in. It's damaged like a motherfucker. It's split. It's all fucked up. It's torn. It's tattered. You name it, right? And so I'm realizing, okay, there is no plastic inside this thing. There is no protection. There is no bubble wrap. There is nothing. It's literally just this really flat, flimsy cardboard mailer, and they put this in there. That's it. Again, look. No protection for a unique, one-of-a-kind slipcover that us people who ended up crowdfunding it and giving our hard-earned money, we were going to get the exclusive, right? Okay, great. That's cool. What the fuck? I was fucking pissed. I was excited, and then when I opened it up, I was like, what the fuck? I was just really livid, and I I was speechless. I didn't know what to say, man. So what I ended up doing was I sent the company an email, and they sent me a response back. How about we look at that email? And here's what it reads, folks. I just got my Blu-ray copy in the mail, and the slipcover is absolutely ruined, bent, dinged up, and more. The mailer had no protection or even bubble wrap to secure it. I've waited like everyone else, a long time anticipating the final product, and I'm a little upset at the end result. Please contact me when possible because this is unacceptable. And as I just showed you the supposedly exclusive slipcover that looks like it got fucking run over, I think I'm a little justified, right? Just a little bit. So, less than 24 hours later, the company ends up emailing me back. And they say, hi, we use the same packaging as we have for many years and don't have issues. Really? It is industry recommended packing for Blu-rays and DVDs. Unfortunately, some postal services don't handle packages correctly, and it's something that we can't control other than shipping in boxes and charging customers more. As you know, postage has virtually doubled since the campaign. Oh, so basically, in their own way, they're basically saying, screw you, what you got is what you're gonna have, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's pretty much what they're saying here, man. And when they say in the email, they're like, it is industry recommended packing for Blu-rays and DVDs. So this flimsy fucking cardboard mailer with no fucking protection whatsoever, no bubble wrap, no anything like that, this is standard packing for Blu-rays and DVDs? This? Are you fucking serious? Are you out of your fucking mind? This is not standard. This is not standard anything. Fuck you, this is standard, okay? What kind of bullshit response is that, man? And then they end up saying, well, we can't control what the UPS does and, you know, shipping and everything like that, the Postal Service, you name it. I get it that Postal Service fucks up packages. I get it, man. It's happened to me a time or two. But at the same time, maybe it wouldn't be easy to fuck up packages if you'd end up, oh, I don't know, packaging the shit better, right? I mean, my God, there's nothing on here that says don't damage or don't bend, anything like that. I mean, again, there's no protection in this thing whatsoever. And they've been packaging this the same way for many years and no one's complained. I guarantee you people have fucking complained. Because if they came in this condition with exclusive editions and slipcovers and stuff like that, if you put it in flimsy shit like this, somebody's gonna fucking complain. Don't give me that fucking shit. Okay, it's fucking bullshit, man. This is Cult Screenings UK Ltd. Okay, I want you guys to remember that, alright? And they've done some amazing stuff in the past that I've ended up contributing to and bought and actually tried to support and really end up giving some of my contribution and my money to their cause, right? No longer. I'm not doing that because I've got to throw out the fucking slipcover. The slipcover is beyond fucking damaged. It's beyond fucking bent and ruined and just fucking run over, and I can't. I just fucking can't do it, man. There's no fucking way to salvage this goddamn thing. So, what did I pay my money for? I paid my money so that you could make steelbooks to send to fucking Walmart? Why couldn't you give them to your exclusive fucking people from the campaign who put their hard-earned money in to actually fucking have you make the fucking documentary in the first place? Why didn't you do that for your fans? Why not? Answer that fucking question. I wonder why. Look, I am somebody who advocates for supporting Indiegogo and Kickstarter projects when it's the right thing to do. When these people have projects that are really creative and imaginative and really great love letters to franchises or fans, that I truly believe it. And Cult Screenings UK Ltd has been one of those companies that has truly done this. But I can't support you any longer, man. I can't put my hard-earned money of $60, $70, $80, upwards to $100 into your crowdfunding campaign and wait years for the final product when it comes like this. When the slipcover is so fucking dinged up and damaged and bent all to hell that there's no salvaging this goddamn thing. And when I email you to actually tell you that there's a problem and there's an issue and hey, I would just like a replacement or something to be fixed, can you help me out? You don't even want to do that. You come up with all these different kinds of excuses instead of actually owning up to it and saying, hey, look, our bad, we're going to take care of you, thank you for contributing, you know, we're going to send you out something, our apologies. They can't even fucking do that, guys. This is unacceptable. It's atrocious. And look, at the end of the day, I waited years upon years like everybody else did for this documentary. I would get updates every now and again. Oh, we're going back for the 4th or 5th time to talk to Robert and schedule other people for interviews and the editing. And every time it's like, okay, they're closer to filming. They're closer to editing. I'm closer to getting my physical media copy. And then to finally get this is like a fucking slap in the face. It's literally like punching me in the face and saying, just deal with it. That's what this is, man. Shame on you, Call Screenings UK Ltd. Shame on you, man, for literally fucking over your fans and the people who actually believe in your product, your customers, with shit stained fucking garbage that this is, man. This is fucking atrocious. It's unacceptable. It's just mind-boggling to me to realize that you couldn't even get better packaging. You couldn't even package this with like bubble mailers or anything like that to protect it. At the very least, man, you could have done something to protect this. You did nothing. You just literally put in the flimsiest fucking cardboard thing you could find and just hope to God that it gets to them on time and gets to them in decent condition. Okay, fine, we're just rolling the dice, gambling. You're sending it from the UK to somebody in the United States with a flimsy fucking cardboard box, mailer, okay? What did you fucking expect to happen, man? This is terrible. I can't. Shame on you, man. You are on my fucking shit list. And maybe I should have just picked up the Steelbook. Because if I knew it was going to come like this, fuck, why bother, man? Why the fuck bother? I'm going to have to get rid of this Indiegogo exclusive slipcover, which is completely fucking damaged all to hell, and, well, I'll just have this. I mean, it's still the documentary. I'm still going to cherish it. I'm still going to watch it. I'm probably going to love it because it's fucking Robert Englund. But you fucked over your customers. Your people who literally support you and wanted to see this project done and contributed to your campaign because they were passionate about it, and this is what you do to your fans. You're fucking trash. You're fucking garbage, okay? And maybe if somebody clips this and actually shows you this, maybe you'll actually do something about it. Maybe you'll actually recontact me and actually do something for me. But even if you do that, and I would appreciate it, but even then, it's too little too late. You fucked up. You sent me an email basically making all these fucking excuses and in a nutshell telling me to go fuck myself. That's what you did. Man, this is just terrible. And a company like this needs to be reminded that you work for the fans. You work for your customers. And when something gets screwed up, you fix it at the end of the day. You own up to it. You fucked up. The result was a shitty looking, messed up fucking slipcover that is supposed to be a fucking exclusive, and it's going in the goddamn trash. I pay a lot for something that I love. I pay a lot to get quality. This is not quality. This is fucking garbage. And you need to own up to your shit and realize that you need to package shit better than this. You need to actually do better for your customers. Do better for your fans out there. Mailing a precious slipcover edition in a bare bones cardboard mailer isn't gonna fucking do the trick. Get your fucking shit together or get out of the goddamn business. I don't want to hear your fucking excuses. I want you to solve the fucking problem. And if you can't do that, get out of the fucking way. I'm fucking pissed. I'm heated, guys. I paid a lot to contribute to this campaign, and this is the kind of fucking quality I get. It's unfucking acceptable. Just saying, man. Just saying indeed. I love physical media. I wanted to support this. But after the condition it came in, I can't do it no more. If I don't get good quality, I have a right to complain. Nowadays, with things costing as much as it does, and having to wait years for your product, you want the best that you can get. And if you don't get it, you have every right to fucking complain. That's your due diligence as a fan, as a customer, as a consumer. And these companies either have to listen to us or face the consequences. And I'm sorry, cult films. You had me, and now you lost me. Just saying, man. But look, I love me some physical media. You guys know this. And you know I do my due diligence to buy what I can. Sometimes it comes in good condition. Sometimes you find it at the retail stores. Sometimes you get some boutique label love. And other times you get shit quality. It's the name of the game. But as a physical media fanboy, well, I continue to do my due diligence because physical media is just too goddamn precious to me. And before I let you guys go, I gotta talk about this. Now, we live in a world of streaming. And there's a lot of really great content that's on streaming. But is it truly considered film if it's just landing on a streaming service? Doesn't even get a chance to be in a movie theater, seeing it on the big screen? Well, according to filmmakers like Tarantino, well, he thinks that they're not films at all. From EW, Quentin Tarantino blasts streaming movies. It's almost like they don't even exist. Let's dive in, shall we? Quentin Tarantino is the latest A-list director to decry the streaming business is doing to the film industry. Speaking with Deadline from the Cannes Film Festival, the director of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood explained how the advent of films on streaming influenced his decision to retire. I like the idea of giving it my all for 30 years and then saying, okay, that's enough, he told Deadline film columnist Baz Boingboye. And I don't like working to diminishing returns. And I mean, now is a good time because, I mean, what even is a motion picture anyway anymore? Is it just something that they show on Apple? That would be diminishing returns. Tarantino went on to say that in his opinion, true movies are released in theaters before they eventually get to television. The director said that he will likely make his final film, reportedly called The Movie Critic, with Sony Studios because they're the last game in town that is just absolutely, utterly committed to the theatrical experience. It's not about feeding their streaming network. They are committed to the theatrical experience. They judge success by asses on the seats. Like Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and Christopher Nolan before him, Tarantino thinks the streaming industry is devaluing the artistic value of filmmaking. I mean, and I'm not picking on anybody, but apparently for Netflix, Ryan Reynolds has made $50 million on this movie, and $50 million on that movie, and $50 million on the next movie for them. Well, good for him that he's making so much money, but those movies don't exist in the zeitgeist. It's almost like they don't even exist. Well, Quentin Tarantino is a master filmmaker. He definitely shares his opinion, but is he right? Well, that is the conundrum, isn't it? Oh, it truly, honestly is, man. Oh, baby. Let's dive into it, shall we? Because as somebody who has seen streaming go from the most lowest valuable denominator to one that people just kind of shrugged off, to now being this gigantic monstrosity that is now too big to fail, streaming has reached this height of impossible expectations. We throw so much money at these movies. We throw so much money at these actors to be in these things. And at the end of the day, how many people are really ultimately seeing them? I mean, you could argue, well, look, Seth, they're on Disney, they're on Netflix, they're on Peacock or Paramount Plus or Apple,
you name it, Hulu, they're on these big platforms. How could people not really see it? Huge amounts of people. Because streaming, just like any other platform, has a very limited availability, has a very limited capacity for how many people are going to see it. Unless you're subscribed to the platform, you're not going to be able to see it, if ever. And even if you do, it'll be a long time until it gets to that point, man. And it's a shame because some of these movies are really fucking good, man. Whether it's movies like Red Notice, or The Adam Project, or Gerald's Game, Hush. I could go on and on and on. Prey, you name it. There's so many really great movies out there and television series that are just stuck in streaming hell. And you just wonder, what are these companies and these studios really thinking about this at the end of the day? Are they thinking about how they're going to get this great project that they spent millions of dollars on to the widest fucking audience? Or are they just trying to feed the streaming machine another cog in the machine that we can just put on the platform and some eyes are going to get on it, and if we get a subscription or two out of it, then we consider that a win? And also, with these streaming platforms, and you guys know it as well as I do, you go on there, like recently I went on Netflix, and I'm just bombarded by so much fucking content being thrown in my face. And I'm like, oh, what about the shit that came out a month ago? That's not even on the front page anymore. That's like really deep down into the algorithm. I gotta really go and really fucking put in the fucking name of the title to try to get to it, man. It's just fucking buried. And that's what fucking happens with these streaming platforms, man, is these movies, unless they're really popular for a long time, they'll be on the front page for maybe a few weeks to a month, and the next thing you know, they're just gone. They disappear. They're not truly just completely gone, but they're just so buried within algorithm hell and within the platform that, geez, I guess on to the next thing. I mean, that's what these companies are, these streaming platforms. They're just cookie cutter entertainment. We give you something one week, and the next week we're on to something else, man. And it's just been there, done that, and do it again, rinse, recycle, repeat all over again with this. And I can't blame Tarantino for saying what he said. In fact, I think he's right. Because you think back in the day, actors and directors and producers and screenwriters working their asses off making these films. And to think that if they put them on a streaming platform, would they be iconic as they are today? Movies like Star Wars or Jaws or Apocalypse Now, The Godfather, Pulp Fiction, I can go on and fucking on, man. Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all these iconic movies and moments that became that way because they were in a cinema, because they were on the big screen, and people got to experience it and really cherish certain moments and really feel nostalgic. I can't say the same about streaming movies. How many people really feel as invested and connected to streaming movies as they are theatrical movies? I can guarantee you majority of people just aren't. Okay? And I get it that we're creating so much content now, and we're feeding the beast so much that we can't put everything into the movie theaters. I get it, because it would just be a huge clusterfuck to put everything from Netflix and Disney and Hulu and Apple just in the movie theaters along with every other theatrical movie. It would just be burying itself. I get it, but at the same time, there's got to be a better way to this, man, because we're missing out on these experiences and these movies that are really fucking good that just don't get a chance in hell, man. And if it wasn't for certain Academy Award standards that say that certain movies have to be in a movie theater for a certain period of time, I guarantee you that Netflix would never do that. Or a lot of these other streaming companies would never do that. If the Academy Award criteria was, oh, hey, it just has to be released within the year,
And if it is, whether it's on a streaming platform or not, it can be nominated for an Oscar. I guarantee you Netflix will be like, why the fuck are we putting it in movie theaters? I mean, if we'll still be eligible for Oscars just putting it on the streaming platform, why the fuck not, man? They wouldn't give a shit. The only reason why they put it into movie theaters is because that's what they have to do in order for them to actually make it to awards season. But the other movies that aren't even considered for that, they just end up getting buried into obscurity. It sucks, man. It really fucking sucks, dude. And I feel bad for so many great movie lovers out there, myself included, where, look, I don't have Apple. I don't have certain other streaming platforms. I have a certain amount, and that's what I can afford, and even that's getting costly in and of itself. Streaming is getting so fucking complicated, and it's getting so fucking pricey that people are just like, dude, I cut the cord from cable because I thought streaming was going to be cheaper. And now it looks like I'm going to be paying more. Entertainment is at a premium. We can't subscribe to every single one of these fucking platforms. It's just fucking impossible. Which means that we're missing out on content. Which means that some of these movies that some people are raving about and talking about on social media, we just kind of miss out. Because I'm not going to be paying $15, $16, $17, $20 fucking dollars a fucking month to maybe see one or two movies and then cut ties. It's a fucking shame. And those movies get left in the fucking dust. And then the streaming platform ends up complaining that, well, people didn't watch it enough. So, of course, we're not going to make a sequel. Or we're not going to promote it even more because not as much eyes were on it. Well, did you promote it enough? Why is your platform so much fucking money? Maybe if it was less money, people would subscribe to it more and therefore put more eyes on your product. But, you know, I'm speaking crazy, right? I'm speaking actually like I'm making sense. It's fucking nuts. Okay? All I'm saying is that we're heading towards a moment within cinema history where movie theaters, whether we like to admit it or not, they are struggling. I mean, yes, you occasionally have the Oppenheimer or the Barbie or the big fucking releases that can really carry it, man. But generally speaking, people are fucking lazy. I mean, I'm just speaking the honest truth. And on top of that, movie theaters aren't exactly inexpensive either, with the tickets and the concessions and everything like that. And then when you get to the movie theater, you're just bombarded by screaming kids and rude teenagers and people on their phones and lights going, and it's just a fucking hassle. No wonder people fucking stay home, dude. And so, with the movie theater experience not exactly dying but waning, streaming platforms are still very popular, but even people are kind of not sure about them anymore because the cost is getting ridiculous for how much entertainment you're watching. You only have 24 hours in a day. And majority of that 24 hours is taken up with a lot of other things, not exactly watching entertainment. So the value of these streaming services is judged per service and how much content you're watching, and if the content is worth it. At the same time, you don't want to go to the movie theaters because that's getting high priced too, so you're in a real fucking conundrum, man. And so the days of these auteur filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino and a lot of these other ones guaranteeing that their product is going to be in a movie theater and not go straight to streaming is impossible now. There's so many of these indie films out there that have no distribution yet that end up going to the Cannes Film Festival or the Toronto International Film Festival or all these other film festivals out there to try to get notice from these studios. And a lot of these streamers end up gobbling these movies up to put on their platform because they need content. And yes, it's nice to be recognized and finally get a service to appreciate your work and put it on a wider platform. That's great and everything, but at the same time, your hard work is getting fucking buried because once they promote it for 1 or 2 weeks, they're dropping that shit down for the next thing, the next baking show, the next cooking show, you fucking name it. Your movie that you worked your ass off on will eventually be another cog in the machine, another fucking algorithm straight to hell. Okay? And it's just the truth, man. And so these filmmakers right now are in a real conundrum. You're making a movie to be seen by the widest audience possible. You want it on the big screen, but yet at the same time, unless you're a big Marvel property or a summer blockbuster or a Star Wars or a fucking Avatar or you name it, man, fucking Harry Potter, all this shit, right? Unless you're big name IP, or if you're a movie that has caught fire with a certain type of audience, man, you're not guaranteed to make any money at the box office. You're not guaranteed to make much money and much notoriety through streaming, and so you're caught in this fucking hellhole that you can't get out of, man. And so Tarantino is like, look, I'm out, dude. This uncertainty in this business, I just can't handle anymore. I've made a certain amount of films. I'm proud of my movies. I'll make one more like I've promised people, and then I'm gone. It's been a fun ride, but I can't stick around, man. And a lot of filmmakers are doing the exact same fucking thing, man. I love movies. I love the theatrical experience. I enjoy streaming, but something is getting lost along the way. We're not finding out these movies as much as we should be. Movies that try their hand at the theatrical market, get buried, and then somehow, weirdly enough, find a place on streaming and find a newfound audience that didn't appreciate it the first time around. Other people end up finding stuff through streaming that is cool and all, but it doesn't get enough eyeballs on it because, quite frankly, the streamer didn't promote it enough. It's just weird. And there's no rhyme or reason to anything. It's all unpredictable, man. And so, filmmakers right now, I think they're tired. I think they're just waving the white flag. And they're ready to fucking give up, dude. And I can't quite say I blame them, man. Look, nowadays, studios are throwing so much money at so many of these filmmakers and these actors, and they just want content. And they don't care whether it's in a movie theater or on a streaming platform. They just want it in front of somebody's eyeballs, man. And we're losing quality along the way, and we're just having so much quantity that it's overstuffing the market. And something's bound to give. I don't know what exactly, but at some point, the bubble has to burst. And when it does, it's either streaming that's gonna go the way of the dinosaur, which I don't see happening, or it's gonna be the theatrical experience. Look, guys, entertainment, as I've said, is costly. It's at a premium. And these filmmakers have to ask themselves, are they willing to sacrifice art for commerce? Are they willing to sacrifice quality for quantity? Are they willing to sacrifice their hard-earned passion to just see it go down the algorithm hellhole? Quentin Tarantino isn't going to do it. And he's a very powerful voice. And when filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino are gone and out of the business, it's a sad day, man. Because there's not many people like Quentin. There's not many people like Martin Scorsese or Francis Ford Coppola, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, James Wan. I could go on and on, man. And we're living in a dying world for artistic expression and a place where your art can really shine. It's either going into a movie theater and gambling it all, and if you fail, everybody calls you a flop, or going into the streaming platforms where your film can potentially be buried. Wow, the options are vast, isn't it? It really is, man. What do you think about this, man? Do you think there's any solving this? Because where one film succeeds through streaming, many other films fail. Where one film really conquers the box office, other films drown. It's hard to know what the right avenue for certain films are, and why certain films fail on one platform and succeed on another. I don't know, but for a lot of filmmakers out there, it's a lot of hard choices and no real easy solutions. Definitely let me know what you think about this, guys. It's really fascinating. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Blu-ray and DVD out and about videos that I do. Movie reviews with my friends, unboxings, Blu-ray pickup videos, live streams, you name it. All the older content and newer content that is slowly but surely coming your way over time. I want to thank my great subscribers out there. You guys are awesome and amazing, supporting me and the channel, the feedback, and watching all the videos. Sometimes they're really long as hell, but you guys are really committed, and I really, truly appreciate it, man. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and soul. It really means a lot to me, man. It keeps me going, and, man, it's worth the grind. It really is, dude. Keep up to date with everything I'm doing through Instagram and Facebook, FilmFan108. Keep up to date with everything I'm doing, plus special previews and videos I do from time to time on social media as well. And if you want to send the channel any movie-related goodness, you can do it. It's not expected, but it's definitely appreciated. You guys have gone out of your way to send some amazing things, mind-blowing stuff that I couldn't have gotten otherwise if it wasn't for the P.O. Box, man. So I can't wait to see where the P.O. Box adventures take me next. If you want to send something, P.O. Box is down below. But I guess that does it for the physical media adventure. It's been fun. It's been vast. It's been unique. And I guess we're on to the following week to see what more media hijinks we can get into. I'll see you back next time for a brand new Out and About experience. Take care, everybody, and remember, happy hunting.